Good guess. I would say the Packers.
Take the quiz every day at thequiz.fox. Then come back here to see how you did.
And thank you for taking the quiz.
497.1 FM Talk. I'm Dan Buck. It is 5:03, and what is the temperature? It's cool. It's 57 degrees out there. Beginning tomorrow, Missourians could see their utility bills jump even higher when a host of new laws goes into effect. Among them, the more than 60 new statutes is a significant change in state utility law that consumer advocates warn could raise your electric bills by at least $600 annually for most St. Louis residents, as well as 10 to 15% hikes on gas, water, and even sewer bills. Other laws going into effect do include several sales tax cuts and expected change to rights for landlords who will no longer be forced to accept public housing vouchers in Missouri. The deadline for applying for tornado federal aid assistance ended at midnight last night as FEMA rejected the St. Louis mayor's request for a 30-day extension. Already, FEMA has accepted over 8,300 applicants, approving more than $40 million in aid. Also, the Small Business Administration, they're extending their business support loan period another 60 days. In sports, the Cardinals' Andre Pallante got rocked for 8 runs in the first 3 innings as the Pirates beat the Redbirds 8-3 on Tuesday night. Game 3 of that 4-game series tonight at Busch, 6:45 game time. It's 5:05 and 57 degrees. I'm Dan Buck for 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Our spectacular late August weather continues. Wonderful out the door this morning. Partly sunny skies. This afternoon, let's look for a high of 79, 80 degrees. Tonight, a few clouds around. 60 Thursday, partly sunny. Maybe a spot shower, but tough to find. Mainly holding way south-southwest. 81 for the high. Friday, sunny and an enjoyable 82. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
5:05, 57 degrees. You can take the Marc Cox Morning Show with you anywhere, anytime, but you have to have that free Odyssey app.
The Marc Cox Morning Show is brought to you by Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group, retirementkey.com.
This is the Marc Cox Morning Show.
All right, good morning to you on this Wednesday morning. Happy you're in here with us this morning. I tell you what, all I can say is welcome back, Uncle Herschel.
Uncle
Can I just tell you
Herschel, can you believe they caved already?
The Unc is back.
The Unc is back.
Yes.
At the crack.
Back at the crack. Uncle Herschel is seated at his little chair next to the Cracker Barrel again, and all is right with the world. Dan Buck, I say after the show today, we drive directly to a Cracker Barrel and have some pancakes.
I am so with you.
What do you think?
Let's do it. Where's the closest one to downtown?
I don't know. Maybe Metro East, actually.
There's one down in Arnold off 55.
Yeah. There's one out not far from my house, actually. I've never been to it.
That's closer to both our houses.
Yes, it is.
That's what we should do. I'm game, man.
Right out there off 94 and K.
That's right. Everybody go support your local Cracker Barrel in the next 7 days and thank them for staying true to the brand, true to Americana, true to the country store image. It's awesome.
I'm glad the pressure campaign worked. I mean, President Trump was after him. Everybody was after him. Now, that said, I think if they don't fire that CEO, all of her woke policies are still there. Now, they're largely affecting people internally, but we know they've really been into the whole DEI thing within the company.
Yeah. And
this was just the most outwardly facing example of them trying to rebrand Cracker Barrel. So I'm not saying that we've solved the problem, but the public outcry worked.
Yeah. And have you noticed none of the press materials, none of the releases are attributing it to her or anyone else? Who's making these decisions to reverse course? Because it's not her. I don't believe it's her, because if it was, she'd be saying, hey, we hear you, we listen to our audience, and she'd be trying to save face. I've not seen a single press release citing her as the decision maker.
Oh, no, I don't
on
think
any
so.
of this.
I think the board came to her and said,
What are
we've
you
just
doing?
watched our stock price drop. We've lost $100 million because of your
150,
stupidity.
yeah,
We're reversing this decision. I think it's very clear she got overridden on this. Don't you think?
I think so.
Yeah.
But you'd think they'd say, hey, you started this mess. You get out there and say, hey, we listen to you. But they're not doing that. They're not, which makes me think there could be more news on that front that she may not be sticking around.
I think you're onto something. So we'll see. So some of the AI videos I've been sharing them with people are just hilarious. I shared one yesterday that's set to the Back in Black song from AC/DC, and it shows Uncle Herschel getting up from his chair and dancing, and then Trump dances into the scene with him. It's just, these people are brilliant. I don't know who knows how to do that, but God bless them.
I am going to find the one, too, that's a song called Go Woke, Go Broke. Have you seen that?
I have.
Oh, that's great. We got to share that, too. I think that was AI generated, but it's still funny.
Oh, I don't even know. I can't begin to imagine how they do that, but I'm glad they do, because that's just that one's crazy. I'll try to share that one on Facebook if I can find it. I shared it with a bunch of people yesterday, so I'm sure that I can do that. That probably the big news. Here's the president again, holding another cabinet meeting in public. I think it was like his 7th one, where he gets all of his cabinet around that big table, and he just says, go. He points at him and tell me what you've been up to. You're getting updates from Tulsi Gabbard on investigations into the 2020 election, things she's found simply locked up in cabinets that she can't believe. They found burn bags with stuff in it that they clearly were trying to hide. So that's going to be interesting. And I think the big news out of yesterday, I got to tell you, Dan, I don't know where you and I haven't talked about this a lot, but this report on autism that's due out next month, this is going to be huge. And I know people who have children who are on the spectrum, and I was really shocked when they first started talking about addressing this and trying to figure out what environmental cause is there for the sharp spike in autism since 1970. And what they talked about yesterday, RFK Jr. said, we think we've identified it. We're going to tell you in this September news conference. And then you said about fixing the problem. I'm not kidding you. We went from less than one child per 10,000 to like one out of every 19 or 20 boys is diagnosed with autism these days.
And I mean,
that's got to be environmental.
In a 40-year window. It's like you don't go that crazy with one particular symptom, autism,
right?
And it's like, how in the world do people not realize it's got to be something environmental? It's got to be something being introduced to the young people of our country, because other countries aren't seeing these spikes.
Yeah, well,
right?
and
they have no
not.
vaccines.
They have
Right,
not.
right.
And for the people who got so offended by that, I'm standing with my child. They've got autism. This is not about attacking your child if they have autism. It's like it's trying to prevent your grandchild from having autism.
Exactly.
I don't think anybody would wish autism on anyone. If you're dealing with that, I feel for you. I have empathy for you. I know people who have children on the spectrum. But it's not something you would wish for. It's not something you would seek out to try to have a child with autism. You wouldn't do that. If you could avoid it, you would. And I'm thrilled that because I don't understand why this hasn't been looked at a lot sooner.
Well, I'll tell you why. It was because the CDC and the HHS and the Institute of Health have all been boards and researchers from where? The pharmaceutical industry that make billions on these vaccines. It's like the fox watching the hen house, right? It is insane. Those have all been revamped, and now we're going to actually have real researchers, independent people who don't have skin in the game, who aren't going to be making billions of dollars based on their findings. And I always say, just make the research happen. They haven't even done control groups on a lot of these vaccines. I mean, the big one that always, kills me is HPV for newborns, giving, what is it?
The human papilloma.
Yeah,
virus.
that Gardasil or whatever it is. And the fact that hasn't even had long-term control group studies done against it is insane. And we're injecting millions of children with it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Hopefully that's going to change, that at least we're going to get better research out of our government and not the research coming from the people who manufacture the vaccines. It doesn't make any sense.
I would agree with that 100%. That's Dan Buck in for Kim St. Ange, and we got Ethan Bright in here, Sue Thomas, along with your traffic here shortly. I saw where we need to ask Sue about this. 14th Street exit at downtown, it says is going to close on the 29th. I don't know if it's closing. It doesn't give a time frame. I don't know if it's a day or if it's a week or what it is. It's suggesting people get off at 11th Street, which could snarl things a little bit with the few baseball games we have left in the season.
14th.
Because that's where I get off, is at 14th Street, right by the Enterprise Center.
Yeah, I was going to say right by Enterprise Center and the big hotel there, because the on-ramp there's already closed to go westbound
the other way. So this is
westbound.
the exit ramp going east. It says it's going to close on Friday? Yep, on the 29th. So we'll try to get some details on that and find out if that's something long-term you need to be on the lookout for.
And where do you get on now? I mean, I went way up to like 14th Street
you could get on down there by Channel 5 is an easy entrance right there by the Eagleton Courthouse.
Oh, okay.
So there's an easy entrance there, or you could go all the way up to Jefferson. I mean, you probably have to do one of those two things to get on 40.
Or there past the stadium's probably open too.
Yeah,
right?
That's true. If you want to go down to Broadway, you could probably get on down there. All right, Ethan, let's get to our top stories, please.
The Marc Cox short list.
Since the inauguration, we've created over 500,000 new private jobs. And if you notice, when the numbers come out, government jobs are going down and private jobs are coming up. And that's what really fuels the country.
Have you listened to any of the mainstream news reports this morning? I was listening to one guy on the way in, one of the newspaper reporters being interviewed on the show that precedes this one. And he's like, Donald Trump is underwater. His numbers are underwater. And I'm like, what world are you living in? He's been in office for 6 months and you're acting like he's failed because some poll they took, depending on how it was worded, showed that somebody wasn't happy with what? He hasn't fixed things well enough for you yet?
Oh, then their coverage of the Fed.
Yeah.
It was just, they're like, he hasn't, no president in the history has ever done this to a Fed board member. And I'm like, okay, just because nobody's ever done it doesn't mean it's not right.
Sounds like it's long overdue.
The issue is a federal government, a governor of the Federal Reserve, literally signs her name and commits mortgage fraud, right? It's alleged that she's committed mortgage fraud, and she says, I'm not going anywhere.
Howard Lutnick, I guess if I had any surprise about this, it's the fact that if we know she did this, why hasn't she been charged yet? I think he's got every legal right to fire her, but I kind of wish we had an indictment hanging out there that you could point to, and we don't yet.
Right.
Our children can't walk around the community without fear of being hurt or kidnapped or having a drive-by. So it's what these numbers that they're expressing, we don't feel it in our quality of life.
Jedediah Brown, a Chicago resident who says, hey, I don't know what Fatso's talking about, Pritzker, but Chicago needs help. I don't know what Brandon Johnson, I don't know what world he lives in as he walks around with armed bodyguards all the time. But for the people who live on the streets in Chicago, who walk the streets, I should say, they don't feel safe.
We are finding documents literally tucked away in the back of safes in random offices in these bags and in other areas, which again speaks to the intent of those who are trying to hide the truth from the American people.
There she is. That was Tulsi yesterday during that cabinet meeting. I made reference to it earlier. She's like, hey, we're finding stuff all over the place. When some of this comes out, you're going to be surprised. So president's like, all right, give it to us. We're waiting. So she's like, well, we've got the bags. We're going through them now. We'll see we'll see what we find. All right. Lots to get to for you this morning. Get your check of business in the next hour with Nicole Murray. We got Genevieve Wood on today. Jeremy Rosenthal, the attorney, is going to join us. We'll talk maybe about why there have been no charges yet in this Fed board case against this governor. I don't know why that is. Maybe Jeremy can address that. We got lots of stuff for you. We're going to give away some Doobie Brother tickets as well, probably in the 8 o'clock hour today. So we'll see how that goes. We're going to right now get to this morning's national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free, and the home of
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Good morning to you. A nice quiet start to the commute. We look good through North County. We look good on eastbound 70, 64, 40, and 44 from out west into downtown. Quiet on the Illinois side. So this is a so far so good situation. If you're just headed out the door, you should have a nice commute. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Just, walking around my basement, I fortunately have not had any water in my basement. I do have a sump pump. And talking to Matt Hayes one day about this, and he has a very low opinion of the sump pumps that you're going to go to a big box store and buy. If you've ever replaced yours, or maybe the person that put yours in went to one of the big box stores to buy the sump pump, he is not a big fan of those. He is very specific about which ones you should and should not depend on, because if they stop working and there's no backup, your basement fills with water and it ruins your belongings. So if you have a question about yours, you're just not sure, call Matt and have a talk with him. He's with Home Shield Foundation Repairs. This is what he does. He lives, eats, breathes foundations. He's an expert at it. He's the guy that'll come to your house to answer your questions. So tell him, listen, I worry about this. I don't have a sump pump. I might need one. What do you think? Matt's got the answers. 314-227-9636. If you've got a crack in the wall that's leaking, he can repair it and you'll get a lifetime warranty. 314-227-9636 or HomeshieldFoundationRepairs.com.
God, remember when the Queen of Carpet and the Princess of Pile were flying around the arch selling flooring?
Andrea, that was the Queen of Carpet and the Princess of Tile.
Oh, that's right. But we don't need shtick here at Best Buy Flooring.
That's right, because our in-stock selection of carpet, carpet tile, sheet vinyl, laminate, hardwood, luxury vinyl plank, and luxury vinyl tile are already at low, low prices.
Come see us at our 3 area locations, North County, South County, and Metro East. Open 7 days a week.
Plus, free financing on approved credit. Best flooring, best selection, Best Buy Flooring.
Cutting through the spin. This is the Marc Cox Morning Show, 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Yeah, one of the few times you will ever hear Taylor Swift music in a bump on the Marc Cox Morning Show, Dan Buck. And I just tell you that, but
Thank
this
God.
is all the rage on social media this morning is the fact that Taylor and Travis are finally engaged.
It
What
was
do you think?
was unbelievable to see how it completely polluted every social media outlet. It was like everywhere. Every talk show.
Everybody. Even Nicole Murray, I'm going to give her some grief about this next hour. When she was reading the news this morning and got to that story, you could hear the excitement in
So
her
happy.
voice. Like her voice kicked up an octave when she read that story.
This is like an American royal wedding.
It
You
is.
know what I mean?
It
This
is.
is
It
what
is.
must be like
Oh,
how
man.
people in the UK feel every time there's some big news out of the
What-
palace.
Just not to be a downer here, but what do you think that prenup looks like?
On which side?
Well, on
one's worth
on
a
her
billion.
side.
One's worth a
One's
billion,
worth
the
a
other's only
billion, and the
a
other's
couple hundred
and the
million.
other's Travis
multi-millionaire.
Kelce.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank
he
you.
only has a couple hundred million. I mean, I think there's plenty to go around there. There probably will be some prenups.
So I
where will
wanna-
the wedding be? That's what I want to know.
I don't care. But all I know is that he's an idiot for not doing this sooner, because every minute the clock ticks, she's making another gazillion dollars. Once you're married to her, you get to participate in some of that. Like, she'll lock in whatever she's already got. The prenup will say, we each came into it with X amount of dollars. Anything we produce going forward would be marital property.
Yeah.
Right. So he should have done this last year.
Well, and what's funny about it, I heard some commentator the other day saying people think Kelsey's this big, dumb kind of football player, barely got through college at University of Cincinnati. Heck no, man. This guy knows how to retire, right? I mean, this is going to be his last year.
Yeah, think about that. He's nearing the crest of his fame.
Yeah.
This
So
is a
what-
beautiful decision.
What's his next gravy train?
Yeah.
This is it, right?
got it,
Instead
baby.
of making 15, 20 million a year on the football field, he gets to be on a beach.
He gets to be a stay-at-home,
Stay-at-home
whatever, dad, husband,
right.
uh,
I think even without her, he would have been fine.
Tour bus driver, something. I mean, they're going to
Plus-
find a place for him.
She think of all the fame she's had writing songs about broken relationships. When it's a failed marriage, that's going to be a blockbuster.
Oh, huge
I'm just saying.
news. Huge news.
Huge.
Yeah.
Even Donald Trump was talking about it yesterday. Listen.
Well, I wish him a lot of luck. No, I think he's a great player. I think he's a great guy, and I think that she's a terrific person. So I wish them a lot of luck.
Oh, how nice.
I am
Even though
telling
she
you.
campaigned against him.
And the is he softening up a little bit on her, or maybe a little? I don't know. I think he's a smart business guy.
Yeah.
And because there's so many Swifties and Swiftie mommies out there.
Yeah.
He's not going down that road. He doesn't need to, right? So he's going softer on it.
Smart decision.
The internet win today goes to the Babylon Bee. I saw it a little while ago. It shows a picture of Travis on his knee asking her to marry him. And it says, it's got a referee standing behind him. He goes, Taylor Swift engagement overturned as referee determines Travis Kelce's knee did not touch the ground.
It's great.
Wait for the memes. Next, it'll be a picture of her in a referee outfit on the field giving a call to the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Right?
Hey, all I'm telling you is those pictures in the garden with the flowers everywhere and all that. That is like locker room fodder for his teammates. They're gonna
can you imagine?
Yeah, they should give him so much grief over that photo. It looked like he was in like a Cinderella fairy tale forest.
It did look a little staged.
You think? I thought some AI might have been involved, but I looked closer. I think somebody actually did put that many flowers in the forest.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that he's certainly taking care. He has cemented his future. As if his millions that he has in the bank hadn't already done that.
Yeah.
Like, what do you do? Hey, I heard something you and I can talk about a little later because I know how much you love sports. I heard John Calipari, who, I loved as my coach at Kentucky. I think it was time for him to go. Glad he's moved on to Arkansas. They can have him. But I heard him making some comments about how college basketball transfer rules have to change. And I think he's absolutely right. I mean, we're getting ready to enter the next college basketball season. He's like, you can have a kid that played for 4 different schools through college, 4 different seasons, burns up their eligibility. Nobody's watching after the kid. They don't make it to the pros. They don't have a college degree, and they've been making $500,000, $700,000 a year NIL money, and suddenly they're flat busted broke. Plus, it's not good for college basketball.
No, and football too. I mean, the portal's ridiculous. Has to be addressed. I'm all for it, but I think once you sign your name, you got to at least commit to 2 years.
You got to commit.
2 years.
You got to commit.
Right.
We'll talk more about that coming up. We're going to get to Buck Don't Give a Bleep right after this.
Do you know someone that deserves a new heating or cooling system at no cost? Lennox invites you to nominate a local hero in your community for Feel the Love and recognize someone who always gives back to others and just needs a little help to get their home comfort where it needs to be. To nominate a member of your community who serves others and deserves the recognition, visit www.feelthelove.com. Nominations will be accepted through August 31st. That's www.feelthelove.com.
St. Louis. This is Carl Tucker from North St. Louis. A few years ago, my son was involved in a neighborhood conflict that ended in gun violence. We reached out to the Urban League Gun Violence and De-Escalation Network, and they stepped in immediately. They contacted the other side and helped de-escalate the situation before it could get out of control. Call the Urban League Gun Violence De-Escalation Team today at 314-250-5900. Your call could save a life.
I don't want to wait.
You never want to wait.
Not when I'm sticking to the couch.
Well, those guys can install a new AC for days. Evidently, no one can.
Jerry Kelly can install a new AC tomorrow. Yes, tomorrow, even if we call it 8 tonight.
Wow, that's fast.
They're fast and they're good.
Mathematically, that actually equals got it going on.
Tomorrow, I love ya.
JerryKelly.com.
Hi, this is Steve Butts with the Crawford Butts Insurance Agency. I know we're all experiencing sticker shock when you get your insurance premium. Now more than ever, you need an independent insurance agent to find the best value for your family's insurance needs. Crawford Butts, family owned and operated for more than 60 years. Please give us a call at 314-752-2500 or at crawfordbutts.com.
I'm Stuart Varney, and this is the Fox Business Report.
Wall Street is bracing for earnings news after the Wall Street close from artificial intelligence chip giant NVIDIA. David Nicholas of Nicholas Wealth Management says upbeat earnings won't be enough. Wall Street needs to see a strong forecast from NVIDIA.
A lot has been riding on this AI trade or on companies spending on CapEx. It's got to beat, but it also has to have good guidance. It's not enough just to beat. A year ago, NVIDIA beat earnings. The stock fell 9%. Why? Because of slowing growth.
There are other tech companies and big retailers reporting earnings today. CrowdStrike, HP Inc., Agilent Technologies, and Trip.com. Also, pet supplies company Chewy, J.M. Smucker, and discount chain Five Below, Urban Outfitters, Abercrombie & Fitch, Foot Locker, and Kohl's. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Jenny Cosola. Invested in you.
I'm alpine skier Michaela Schifrin. I've won the most World Cup ski races in history. But what does success mean to me? Success means discipline. It's teamwork. It's the drive and passion inside of us, and it's why Stifel is one of the fastest growing global wealth management firms in the country. If you're looking for success, surround yourself with the people who will get you there. If you're an advisor or investor, choose Stifel, where success meets success.
Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member SIPC and NYSE.
Past performance is no indication of future results. Investing involves risk. Consult a financial advisor before making any investment decision.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
On the roads, we look good this morning. At this hour, it's pretty quiet throughout the entire metro area. There is road work scheduled to kick in at 6 o'clock this morning. On 6440 downtown, they'll close one eastbound lane from 22nd Street to 6th Street, and that will be until 2 this afternoon. And then at 9 this morning till 3 this afternoon, they'll close one westbound lane of 64 from Broadway to 22nd. It's ongoing road work. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
All right, let's talk about your garage door for just a minute and how much you just take it for granted. Can we just admit that? We do. We need to have a little heart-to-heart here, a little intervention. You take your garage door for granted. You know you do. It goes up, it goes down. You're happy. You move on till it doesn't work. Or maybe you're trying to upgrade the curb appeal, the value of your home. It's your biggest investment, and it's time to put a new garage door on. If you've decided that, I want you to call my friends at Overhead Door Company and let them come out and give you a free estimate to get that done. Right now, they're offering you a pretty good deal. It's their Cash for Clunkers deal. That means they're going to give you money to take your old garage door away before they install the new one. That's a great deal. $300 if you have a 3-car garage. So it's $200 for the first door, $100 for each extra door that you have. And then you just take that off the bottom line of the cost of that new garage door and installation, and then you're fixed. So take advantage of it while it lasts. It usually doesn't last all that long. I don't see a expiration date on this one, but call them today at 314-781-5200. That's 781-5200. Go to overheaddoorsstlouis.com. You can also order 24-hour emergency service. They're not going to leave you stranded. So they're going to get there the same day to fix your garage door if it's broken. It's overheaddoorsstlouis.com.
We all have different ideas of the perfect retirement, but they all depend on the same thing, not running out of money. And preparing for retirement can sometimes be overwhelming, but it doesn't have to be. Find out how you could build your retirement on your terms. Join host Steve All for the All Financial Hour Saturday mornings at 6 here on 97.1 FM Talk.
You can also visit yourmoneymattersstl.com for more details.
Cutting through the spin. 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative. Buck don't give a f.
This is the time of the show where we normally give you a trigger warning if you're a liberal, because we are featuring a lot of great conservative voices that are out there on social media that mainstream media tends to ignore. But not all the stories and the social shares that I do on this segment are going to be triggers for liberals. I'm just saying. Yeah, that's right.
Taking it easy on them.
Yeah,
today.
Although there's probably some woke leftist out there who's going to say this story reeks of male chauvinism or macho man coaching, whatever. But when I heard this woman's story, and immediately I thought of my own high school football coach, a guy by the name of Warren Dobry, who is, I probably would say, the greatest male influence in my life. I mean, I was at a tough time in my life in high school, and it wasn't even how he coached or what he said, but really how he lived his life and how his example kind of demanded the respect of every young athlete who has been under his tutelage, and how he expected us to behave both on and off the field. So let me get to the story. It's a social media post that comes from a young lady on X named Kathleen Winchell. I follow her. She's just a normal 30-something mom, middle class, hardworking, great sense of humor. She's funny as heck, and she just shares everyday life moments. Well, she's got like 300,000 followers in like a year, including me. And as we embark on our first Friday Night Lights this week in high school football, I thought this is kind of a great example of the life lessons that these coaches who are in the trenches every day with these football players, how they can teach these young men really great life lessons both on and off the field. Here's Kathleen's recent story. Hit it, Ethan. You'll love this.
So I go get gas in my car today, like you do when you need gas, right? And I pull up to the pump. On the other side of the pump from me is an older gentleman. And to the left of me is some high school kids. I'm standing there pumping my gas, and I just happened to drop my keys on the floor. So I bent over to pick them up. Next thing I know, I hear, moo. I look over, and this kid, and his girlfriend are standing there laughing at me, making mooing sounds. When out of nowhere, I hear this. Boy, I know I did not just hear that come out of your mouth. And when I tell you, this kid's soul floated out of his body and the blood rushed all the way to his knees, he was ghost white.
Oh
Turns
my
out
gosh.
It was his football coach pumping gas across from me and heard him saying this to me. Next thing I know, now you're going to get over here right now. You're going to give me 50 push-ups right next to this young lady's car. And when you're done with that, you're going to clean all of her windows. And then you're going to go inside and you're going to pay for her gas. If she already paid for it, you're going to reimburse her. Am I right? Yeah, you're right. He gets down and he does 50 push-ups right by my pump. And when he's done with that, he hops up, he goes over, he grabs the little squeegee thing and he starts washing all the windows in my car. And then he walks up to me and he's like, do you need me to pay for your gas? No, she don't need you to pay for her gas. She's a grown adult unlike you, but you're going to do it anyway, aren't you? And this kid pulls out $20 and hands it to me.
Where is
now,
this?
me being the good person I am, I was like, no, you don't need to do that. But the football coach is like, ma'am, if you don't take that money, you're going to be doing push-ups too. To the man at the gas station, thank you for teaching your football players that making fun of someone's size or their race, or their color, or if they're poor or rich or whatever it may be, making fun of someone when you don't know their situation is wrong.
Wow. How cool is that?
That is really cool.
Isn't that great?
Yeah.
And I said, kudos to that coach. Now, some people would say, oh, you know, what they do off the field is none of your business. And there will be people who believe that. But this coach holds these kids accountable no matter where they are, whether it's in public and how they act. I mean, that kid will never forget that lesson.
I don't think you can stress enough. Like I don't know if people respect the influence that coaches can have as much as they could. Like I still remember I had 3 different football coaches through high school.
Me too.
Like the legend in our school district retired after my sophomore year, and his assistant took over the next year, which was a pretty dismal failure. And then we had another guy come in that ended up the year or two after I graduated, took him to the league championship. So those faces change. But to this day, I'll remember Coach Gene Rice kicking people in the butt and saying, "Hellfire, gang! My 12-year-old niece can do better than that." Like you, these things just get imprinted on you, and I think it's great that there are still coaches out there because that wouldn't fly in every district.
No,
you know it wouldn't. He'd end up in the principal's office saying, "You can't force a kid to do push-ups or make a woman pay for a woman's gas." I mean, come on.
Yeah, and he. My coach the same way. He was the legend who came in my senior year. It was his first year, my senior year, and ran us to an undefeated season. It was just the bar, the standard of excellence that he brought in everything he did. And Warren Dobry literally changed my life. He also hosted FCA at his house with half the team.
Right?
Yeah, Fellowship of Christian Athlete wasn't even in our town yet. He started the first chapter there, and I mean, his house was packed every Monday, and just the kind of man he was, how he was in the trenches with you, we were at a public school, and he prayed before every game, just for our health and for our well-being, and I just thought, man, what an influence he made, and did it for 3 decades at Monmouth High School up in Monmouth, Illinois. Won a state championship, took him to the state finals several times. Just a good coach, but a great man.
Well, I mean, just the awe in this woman's voice that this kid reacted the way they did. But they're not getting the discipline at home anymore. Kids generally just don't get that kind of discipline at home anymore.
Or sometimes they don't have a male influence. You know, let's face it, there's a ton of people out there who, you know, a single mom's doing her best, doing what she can, but she needs that hammer. You know, she needs that guy in that kid's life who's just going to hold him maybe a little more accountable, especially away from home, right? Mom might have the fort held down when he's at home, but when he's away, how he's behaving and how he's acting may not be appropriate. But this coach clearly was not going to stand for it. You know, it would have been easy for him to just get his butt in the car and act like he didn't see it.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
Oh no.
So you've coached obviously since then. How much of that has carried over for you?
No, I took all those principles into what I did. I mean, I always say that name you wear on your chest does not leave when you take your uniform off. You represent your school, you represent your club, your organization, no matter where you are and how you act, and do not shame the other 11 members of your team because of some stupid act that you're going to do. And you know, people don't always say, you know, oh, it was John Smith who did X, Y, and Z. They're going to say, no, it was that kid on that team that did this stupid act. And so we just always held each other accountable and teach kids that you aren't in this alone. You got a bunch of other teammates who rely on you and your character, whether you're here on the field or whether you're away from the field. Just be a good person. It's goes both ways. What comes around goes around in this world, and that kid will never forget that lesson. I promise you. He'll think twice before he ever makes fun of somebody in public.
Oh, yeah.
Not looking for the coach either, knowing that, man, I was stupid. That was ignorant,
Well, yeah, we've all had, hopefully you've had it. I haven't had an opportunity to coach much, like at a very basic level, helping out with a kid's baseball team or football or whatever. But you can see the coaches that do it right? The ones that aren't losing their temper, or maybe they are mad sometimes. The kids aren't listening to them.
Sure.
But instilling that discipline in the right way and applying it in the right knowing what words are going to work to motivate the kids, because gone are the days when you can, slap them on the butt or kick them in the butt and tell them to move faster.
And different kids have different triggers. There's
Sure.
different. You really have to learn the kid emotionally before you can be an effective coach for him. The same techniques don't work for every kid. Some kids do perform better around pressure and being yelled at and being, addressing them firmly. Other kids, you got to go a little softer, a little kinder, explain things more. And that's what I think great coaches are able to do, is to kind of tailor their coaching to fit the kind of kid that they're coaching. Different kids respond to different stimulus.
Well, it's a good thing. And so many people could learn that and take it to heart when it comes to, youth sports these days. We need more of it. We don't need less of it. I've always been disappointed at the shrinking size of football teams. When I was in high school, I didn't go up.
Whole line,
I didn't
the
climb.
whole sideline was
I didn't
full.
climb uphill, in the snow to get to school or anything, or have to walk to school. But when I was in high school, there were 3 times as many people on the sidelines as the ones out there playing. And these days, sometimes they struggle. They have kids that have to play both ways because they can't get enough kids out to play football.
Yeah, we used to dress everybody too. Like varsity, you'd bring up the freshman, the sophomore. There would literally be like 60 kids on the sideline, even though most of them knew they would never see the field during that game. But it was partly just, to give them that experience, give them that Friday Night Lights experience, and have as many kids enjoying that experience as they could, coming through the tunnel and busting through the paper, and it's a great, and it all starts this week. It'll all start in most high schools Friday night.
Yeah.
Game on, brother.
Exciting.
It is. Four great years for those kids who are playing football and playing in the band and cheerleaders and all the people who, support the team throughout the year. The parents, boy, if you're a high school parent out there, relish in those years, because they are memorable, both for you and your kids.
They fly by a lot more quickly than you would like to think.
That's right.
There's a pretty amazing story this morning coming out of Scotland that's kind of going viral. We're going to delve into that. We'll talk a little bit more about it when we come back. Stay tuned.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
We really have a nice start to the commute this morning. If you're just headed out, really no delays on 55 through 2 construction zones at least. 44 is in great shape. We look good on both the Missouri and Illinois sides. So no real issues at this hour. Now, there is some road work scheduled tonight and 8 p.m. until 5 a.m. tomorrow. Crews on 70 will have an eastbound lane down from McDonald to Hanley and from the southbound 170 overpass to the westbound to southbound 170 overpass. So a little road work tonight there on 70, 8 p.m. until 5 a.m. tomorrow. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Enjoy your land the way you've always dreamed of. Learn more at MissouriBrushControl.com. Missouri Brush Control is helping landowners reclaim their property, manage vegetation, and clear land for better views. Enjoy your land the way you've always dreamed of. Missouri Brush Control, making acreage great again. Visit MissouriBrushControl.com.
Hey, when it comes to, broadcasting, I know a little bit about that. When it comes to putting a roof on a house, I know virtually nothing about that. Like I can envision what it takes to put a roof on, but I watched those crews up there working when they were putting the roof on my house, and I'm like, Man, they are working their butts off. But it's organized chaos. They know exactly what they're doing. They know how to do it the right way and correctly. And it's why I was happy I had Curtis at Correll Roofing on my side. Curtis Correll runs this company. He's a local guy. He's a veteran. He's a dad. He's there if you have questions. He relishes customer service. He loves explaining the process so you understand what the extent of the damage was, the difference in quality with these replacement roofs that you're going to get put on there. I got one that he referred to as bulletproof. So next hail comes around, I don't have to worry about it. If you're wondering what that is, talk to him about it. If your roofer who gave you an estimate didn't know all that, you need to talk to Curtis Correll, because I trust him. He put my roof on. He went over and looked at my daughter's house and honestly told her, you don't need a new roof. There's not going to be an insurance claim on this. So if you're looking for that kind of honesty, call him at 314-222-9529. That's 222-9529, or you can find him on Facebook at Correll. That's 2 R's, 2 L's, Correll Roofing Co.
Scott Jennings here. I'm excited to be part of the St. Louis conservative conversation, cutting through the noise with unfiltered common sense.
Scott Jennings, St. Louis conservative, on 97.1 FM Talk.
Protect your liver and give it the support it deserves by making Active Liver from New Nordic part of your daily wellness routine. Find Active Liver in stores at your local CVS, Meijer Grocery, or online at Amazon or at newnordicusa.com.
Trucking accidents can change your life in an instant. The injuries, the bills, the stress. It's overwhelming. That's why you need a legal team that understands what you're going through and knows how to fight for what you deserve. At Kaufman Townsley, we've helped real people in St. Louis get real results after serious truck crashes. We know the roads, we know the law, and we know how to win. Kaufman Townsley, real people, real results. Call 314-500-5000. That's 314-500-5000.
If you're over the age of 65 or an adult living with a disability, you know navigating the Medicare system can be hard. But Missouri's area agencies on aging look out for you by providing free, unbiased Medicare counseling. They will determine if you can save money or help you pick and even enroll in the plan that is best for you. They can even help you apply for Medicare savings programs. Contact your local area agency on aging at 800-235-5503. Paid through a grant from the Administration for Community Living, grant number 2401 MOM-IAA 01.
From the gateway city to the front lines of freedom, this is the Marc Cox Morning Show. 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis conservative.
Man, how lucky we are that we have the Second Amendment in the United States. We have the Castle Doctrine, where you're allowed to defend yourself and your property and other people. And when I hear these liberals whining about, more gun control and all this, it's not the gun. It's not the inanimate object. I've never had a single gun jump out of my safe and shoot someone. And I've never pointed a gun at someone. Therefore, nobody has been shot by me. So that's the beauty of what our founders gave us. That's the gift they gave us in the Second Amendment to this country. They gave us the First Amendment for freedom of speech. We relish that. And they gave us the Second Amendment to back it up if somebody tries to take it away. Not so much in other countries. Like, I know you've read stories about people in England who are being locked up or charged because they made a social media post the government didn't like. And maybe that was Germany where that happened, or France. But in Europe, right, these socialist democracies over there, they don't relish. They don't protect freedom of speech and your freedom to defend yourself. So that brings me to this little girl from Dundee, Scotland. This story has gotten very little play in the U.S. so far. You search for it on social media. There's a young girl who lives in clearly what looks like a multi-story apartment building. And she is, I can't play you the audio because she curses so much of it in her thick Scottish brogue that we can't edit it down enough to
She was
play
clearly worked up. That
She
they
was
were bullying her sister.
worked up. There were some Muslim immigrants to her country who were harassing her younger 12-year-old sister. She's 14. And the full circumstances of it are not clear, but she says at the camera, she shouts at somebody that they are blanking, battering kids. You're blanking kid bashers. They were threatening her younger sister. Now, you get the impression this is not the first time this has happened. So on Saturday, when she went out, she took something to protect herself with out of fear this was going to happen again, or to protect her sister. And pretty soon you're going to see shirts popping up on the internet with a hand holding a knife and another hand holding what looks like a small axe. This girl, you can hear the tormentor in this video daring her to pull out the knife because
totally baiting her,
because he knows that under Scottish law, she's the one that's going to get in trouble, not the men who are harassing this 12-year-old girl. So none of them have been arrested, but she is charged with possession of a bladed weapon. And for all I don't know what their juvenile system is over there. She could be charged as an adult. She's 14 years old. I don't know what they're going to do with her. But this is the problem with open borders.
Yeah.
This is part of the problem. Now, the tormentors here could have been, MS-13 gang members. The story is the same.
And make it clear they're adults. They were adults who were assaulting and picking on and bullying the 12-year-old sister. And clearly in this video, after she brandishes the knife, they continue to bully her.
Yeah. They taunt her. They dare her to pull the knife out because they know she'll be the one that gets in trouble and not them.
Now, and they videotaped it all. So, they clearly were trying to catch her in the act.
Yeah. She didn't get near any of them. She just showed them that she meant business, and she needed them to leave her 12-year-old sister alone. I don't know if they were going to attempt to rape her. The specific details on the threat are not clear. What is clear is you have a young girl who felt she had I don't know where the adults are here, had no other option but to step up and defend her younger sister to these men that were harassing her on the side of a road somewhere in Dundee, Scotland.
And apparently self-defense or defense of others is not allowed in that country because that's exactly what she did.
Well,
she didn't stab anybody.
You can't drive down the highway and brandish. If you've taken a concealed carry class, you understand that. You can't wave the gun to scare somebody off. That's called brandishing, and they will charge you for that.
Unless your personal safety is
at risk.
Imminently at danger.
But you got to think in Scotland, if one of these guys had grabbed her sister and she had taken that knife and stabbed him, she'd be in for a lot more trouble than the guy that grabbed the girl. That's what they've done to the law over there. Thank God we have the Second Amendment and the Castle Doctrine in this country.
Or you'd be going to jail like this 14-year-old. Now, she's been arrested, right?
She's been charged. I don't know if she's in custody or not. They refer to her in this story in the Scottish Daily Express as an axe-wielding schoolgirl from Dundee, who is said to have been defending a young female from a migrant man. She has become a social media hero. We don't know her name. They will not release. She's obviously underage, so they're protecting the name of the girl. But the video, if you just search for it, has gone viral.
You will love her boldness. Let's put it that way. She does not. That girl's got no fear. She was being quite vocal,
pushed to the edge in defense of her 12-year-old sister. And good for her. I'm going to have to get me one of those shirts.
That's right.
For sure. All right. Coming up, we're going to get you a check of business in the next hour. We got more Doobie Brother tickets to give away as well. Stay tuned.
Step outside and fall in love with your backyard again. From inviting porch overhangs to durable composite decks and cozy screen rooms, Lakeside Renovation and Design creates stunning outdoor living spaces designed for relaxation, entertaining, and making memories. With expert craftsmanship and top-quality materials, your new outdoor oasis will be perfect for every season. Call Lakeside Renovation and Design today or visit lakesiderd.com to get started. Let's turn your backyard into the retreat you've always dreamed of.
Get everything you need for your cookout and save when you shop at Ruler Foods. Start with Kroger brats or Italian sausage, just $3.49. And sizzle up with Heritage Farm seasoned beef patties, 2-pound pack for just $7.99. And snack smart with Doritos or Tostitos, just $2.49 each when you buy 4. Marie Callender's pies, just $6.49. Spend less and celebrate more. Only at Ruler Foods. Now through September 3rd, go to rulerfoods.com. Get $10 off a $60 delivery purchase with promo code SUPERSAVER.
If you're considering an annuity as part of your retirement plan, we need to talk. Hi, I'm Bob Stockdale, Senior Vice President Investments with the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel and host of On the Money Saturday mornings at 11 on 97.1 FM Talk. Annuities can be a useful tool for some retirement investors, but not all annuities are created equal. Every week, we meet clients who own complex annuities that don't suit their needs and, in some cases, actively undermine their retirement plan. Before you purchase an annuity, get a second opinion from the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel. Requesting a consultation is free of charge. To request a free consultation, contact us at clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com, or call us at 636-695-2650. That's clearpathinvesting.com or 636-695-2650. Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member NYSE and SIPC.
The Cards, the Pirates.
Siteman Cancer Center game time 6:45. Play ball. Siteman Cancer Center, national leader in cancer.
The home of the Cardinals. 104.1 FM KMOX.
We all have someone we love, like the favorite lyric in our favorite song. You can't imagine life without them. So tell them today, I love you. Get screened. It could help save their life. Visit cancer.org/getscreened to learn more.
You've been listening to the very popular Wellness One for many years, Saturdays and Sundays on 97.1 FM Talk. We're happy to share that we've expanded the show to 4 times a week. Yes, 4 times every weekend. Saturday at 10 a.m., Saturday at 8 p.m., Sunday at 9 a.m., and Sunday at 2 p.m. It's the same great show designed to cut through the nonsense and provide you a common sense, science-based strategy for a healthy life. So join TJ and Aaron for Wellness One. Now 4 times a week on 97.1 FM Talk.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-500-5000.
That's 314-500-5000.
All on the free Odyssey app.
The bold blitz to beat down crime. I'm Angelo Bavaro. President Trump holding a cabinet meeting yesterday where he called for the return of the death penalty in the nation's capital. It comes as D.C. sees its first homicide in nearly 2 weeks.
That shooting took place early Tuesday morning after midnight when an adult male was found unconscious but breathing in Anacostia off Minnesota Avenue in southeast D.C. He later died in the hospital. The White House says there's been over 1,000 arrests this month since President Trump ordered those reinforcements to help D.C.'s police force, which is 800 cops short. Trump says Republican House and Senate leaders are working on a new legislation to fight crime. Posting last night, Speaker Mike Johnson and Leader John Thune are working with me and other Republicans on a comprehensive crime bill. It's what our country needs, and now more to follow. Make America great again.
Fox's Lucas Tomlinson. Washington, D.C. does not have the death penalty, but the Trump administration has been pushing police to charge suspects with federal crimes, some of which do carry the death penalty. City officials continue to argue that crime had already been falling. President Trump is facing a legal challenge to his attempt to fire a Federal Reserve board member.
The president says his removal of Lisa Cook as a Federal Reserve Board governor is not related to her opposition to lower interest rates.
We need people that are 100% above board, and it doesn't seem like she was.
President Trump cites an allegation of mortgage fraud by Cook for her dismissal, an accusation Cook denies. Her attorney says she will sue to prevent an unlawful firing. President Trump told reporters he is considering a replacement for Cook. Her term on the Fed does not expire until 2038. At the White House, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
Cook was appointed by President Joe Biden in 2022. America is listening to Fox News.
This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. Cordell & Cordell is the largest family law firm in the country with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. That does give us certain advantages, for example, in experience and resources. But being big doesn't mean less personal or less local. Our attorneys live and work in your community, and as neighbors, they understand the challenges your families face. Cordell & Cordell, a partner you can count on.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. 600 Kelwood, St. Louis. CordellCordell.com.
Millions of Americans take medicine like Ozempic and Zepbound. Many of them are overpaying by thousands of dollars a year. These GLP-1 medications for diabetes, weight loss, and more may not always be covered by your insurance, but GoodRx can help. GoodRx helps you save every month on prescriptions at over 70,000 pharmacies nationwide. Best of all, it's free to use. Check GoodRx to save on GLP-1s. Just go to GoodRx.com/GLP. That's GoodRx.com/GLP. GoodRx is not insurance, but can be used instead of insurance, including Medicare and other federal and state-funded programs.
497.1 FM Talk. I'm Dan Buck. 6:03 right now, 57 degrees. Beginning tomorrow, Missourians could see utility bills jump even higher when a host of new laws will go into effect. Among the more than 60 new statutes is a significant change in state utility laws that consumer advocates are warning could raise electric bills by at least $600 annually for St. Louis residents, as well as 10 to 15% hikes on gas, water, and even sewer bills. Other laws going into effect do include several sales tax cuts and expanded rights for landlords who will no longer be forced to accept public housing vouchers in Missouri. The deadline for applying for tornado federal aid assistance has ended. Officially ended at midnight last night as FEMA rejected the St. Louis mayor's request for a 30-day extension. Already, FEMA has accepted over 8,300 applicants, approving more than $40 million in aid. Also, the Small Business Administration, the SBA, is extending their business support loan. That period will now expire in 60 days. In sports, the Cardinals' Andre Palante got rocked for 8 runs in the first inning last night as the Pirates beat the Redbirds 8-3 on Tuesday night. Game 3 of that 4-game series is tonight at Busch, 6:45, the first pitch. It's 6:04 and it's 57 degrees. I'm Dan Buck on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Good morning to you. Well, it's a good time to be on the roads. It's early enough that we're still in really good shape, and that's throughout the entire area, both the Missouri and Illinois sides. So if you are eastbound on 70 or 6440 or even 44, things look great from out west into downtown. We're quiet on the Illinois side as well. Off to a good start this morning. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
This report is sponsored by McKelvey Homes.
Hi, I'm Jim Brennan of McKelvey Homes. Have you always wished for a brand new home in an established neighborhood? Select one of our move-in ready custom homes throughout St. Louis, or we will build on your lot. Visit McKelveyhomes.com and move up to McKelvey.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Our spectacular late August weather continues. Wonderful out the door this morning. Partly sunny skies. This afternoon, let's look for a high of 79, 80 degrees. Tonight, a few clouds around. 60 Thursday, partly sunny. Maybe a spot shower, but tough to find. Mainly holding way south-southwest. 81 for the high. Friday, sunny. And an enjoyable 82. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
It's 6:05, 57 degrees. Nice, cool start to your Wednesday. Don't forget, you can take the Marc Cox Morning Show with you anywhere, anytime. All you have to do is download that Odyssey app.
The Marc Cox Morning Show is brought to you by Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group, retirementkey.com.
This is the Marc Cox Morning Show.
Hey, it is a Wednesday. It's a gorgeous day outside. I put a jacket on before I walked out the door this morning. What's it? The temperature's 57 now. It's showing here on the local TV stations as I look up at the screen. It must have been 50 2 at my house when I got in the truck. It's a little bit chilly out there.
And you had dew all over the front of your car, didn't you?
Yeah, a little moisture.
A lot of humidity still out there, but man, oh man, what a cool, it feels like October.
What a great couple days.
Yeah.
I retweeted this. I think I might have put it on Facebook this morning from meteorologist Dave Murray when he just shows the list of seasons in St. Louis. Winter, full spring, second winter, spring of deception, third winter, the pollening, actual spring, summer, hell's front porch. And then it says false fall, you are here. And then second summer is coming.
Second summer. They also call that the dog days of summer, right? The ones that just refuse to go away. They hang around like a dog.
And then finally actual fall, according to Dave Murray, will be here at some point. So you must be expecting that heat to come roaring back here before long.
So he called this false fall? Is that what you said?
He called this false fall. Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Just enjoy it for August. Wow. Just enjoy it while it lasts. Glad you're with us this morning. We got Dan Buck in here for Kim St. Ange. And Dan, you have to tell people you got to go back to your old haunts at KSDK Channel 5 yesterday in preparation for their 30th anniversary of the show you founded, right?
Yeah, and this sets the stage well. So Mary Thayer, who's their amazing executive producer, love her to death. She's just a fabulous young lady. She opens up before we start the interview in studio about the 30-year anniversary of Show Me St. Louis, and she says, "Oh my gosh, you have no idea. I used to watch you. I grew up on you." And I'm like, okay,
that make you feel old.
Oh, and she says, I mean, literally, when I was in kindergarten,
wow,
the show started, and I'm like, oh wow. I'm like, we're way old here. And then it was just great. They did the interview obviously in studio, but then we walked through the halls with a camera, and it was incredible to see a lot of my old colleagues who are still there. Mighty Joe Young will be retiring next year, an amazing photographer at Channel 5, who's I think put in 35 years, something like that. Randy Schwenker, who was actually my photographer on Show Me St. Louis, he and Marc Maury are still there. In fact, Randy's now the chief photographer.
Oh, is he? Okay.
He's got a big old office. I'm like, what are they giving you an office for? I mean, you're supposed to be out beating the bushes still. And he's,
that's right.
Oh no, I do most of the booking and the
scheduling and stuff.
Scheduling, union work, all that
him.
stuff. Yeah, and he's but he's just those people are just salt of the earth. Love what they do. So committed to news journalism.
I know them both.
Yeah,
I know them all.
And then of course Art Holliday, bumped into him. He'll be ending his 48-year career. And just
I thought he was done already. I didn't know he was still over there.
He is. I think his Monday is going to be officially his last day.
Okay.
So he's still there, in the interim. I don't think they've named. Can you imagine too? Kay Quinn just retired. A lot of people leaving there, and I wonder if there's some uneasiness of the takeover.
With Nexstar.
Yeah, that Tegna is selling to Nexstar, who will now own 3 stations, assuming that the FCC approves it. They're going to own Channel 5, Channel 2, Channel 11. They're going to have a monopoly.
Well, I tell you that aside, the ownership issue aside, I have to say I'm impressed with the amount of money Nexstar has continued to spend at Channel 2.
Yeah,
they probably produce more news programming than any other station in town.
Oh, not even close.
And when you look at their staff, they've got some of the longest tenured people in town still on the air over there who they're keeping around. They're not just replacing everybody with a 24-year-old straight out of Mizzou. So maybe after as bad as Tegna has been as an owner, maybe that is a step up for him, having Nexstar run the place instead.
Yeah.
Just a thought.
And I think there's a lot of uneasiness at Show Me, even though it's the 30th anniversary of that show, and it has been kind of a light in the darkness. I mean, they've focused on what's good and what's positive about our community every day. It's become a little commercialized, as we've talked a lot about, that so many of the stories there are sponsored stories, which I get it, pays the bills, keeps the lights on. But that team at Show Me has really depleted since when I was there. I mean, we had a team, I think there was 12 or 13 of us
working on the show.
Yeah. I think it's 6 today.
Woo!
Yeah, that's a lot to produce.
Who did you co-anchor with? Who was your
Debbie Turner, Miss America?
It was Debbie.
Was
right?
my co-host for the beginning of that run. I was there about 9 years. Debbie, of course, went to the network at NBC, and then I worked with.
I put him on the spot here.
Well,
Sorry
Wendy Erickson was my
Okay.
partner in crime for a long time. It was just one of the and Heidi Glaus, love her. She's just she was an intern. She when the show started or shortly thereafter, and then became a producer, then became a reporter, then became the host of the show. So, and that show has always taken care of its own, let people advance like that. I started as a reporter and became the host after a couple of years when Perchborn moved over to 2. So I just hope that it's got another decade or so in it. We'll see, especially when a new company comes in and starts looking at programming and wondering whether it's, a viable, workable thing. I think the show still does well. It seems to have a lot of sponsors and a lot of people who like being a part of it. And
What's the date that'll air? Do you have any idea when your
I'll
piece airs?
check. I think our anniversary date, the actual show was September 6th, but I'll have to check on that.
All right. We'll keep an eye on that. Love hearing about all the folks you ran into over there. That's good. I know a lot of them. I worked with a couple of them, and I just ran across them on the street and all that stuff.
You and Marc Murray, I think, worked in Carolina.
South Carolina. We worked down there together, WYFF in South Carolina.
That was a good recruit bringing him here.
Yes, indeed.
Along with Nick Zervos, who was another South Carolina transplant.
I'll take credit for at least one of those, for sure. I think Nick might have talked Marc into coming, but yeah, that was fantastic.
Yep.
All right, we're going to get into what's going on here this morning. Obviously, you've heard the Cracker Barrel news, but there's a lot of other. If you get Cracker Barrel and Taylor Swift out of the way, there's a lot of other stuff going on. Let's get to our top stories, Ethan, please.
The Marc Cox short list.
New Jersey mom Maria Plates was killed instantly, and her daughter Diana Cortez later died at the hospital. According to prosecutors who say Raul Luna Perez drove his Dodge Durango head-on into the mother's Nissan Sentra.
Another day, another American citizen impacted by illegal immigration. We heard Mark Walters talking about it yesterday. His daughter was hit, fortunately not hurt, in Georgia, hit by an illegal driver who had an expired driver's license from California. We got to make this madness stop.
Well, my grandson in the middle of the movie like, Papa Snoop, how she have a baby with a woman? She a woman. Oh, I didn't come in for this. I just came to watch the movie.
Snoop Dogg went to the movie theater, probably stoned when he got there, but he did not like the content of that new Lightyear movie. And man, he is being savaged by the left today for daring to question that.
So the line is that I'm a dictator, but I stop crime. So a lot of people say, if that's the case, I'd rather have a dictator. But I'm not a dictator. I just know how to stop crime.
Wait, how many of the liberal media will only use the first half of what he said?
Yeah.
If it can stop crime, maybe I should be a dictator. That's where they'll stop it.
Yep.
Instead of him saying, I'm not a dictator. I'm just stopping crime.
He's enforcing laws.
Yeah, thank you.
They're on the books. They can't say, well, he's jailing people for no reason. No, they're all reasons.
It is shocking.
Yeah.
Hold on. Here we go.
Senator's efforts are in this regard, and I certainly told him that I will be supportive. And
that is Congresswoman Ann Wagner, as you heard there, on with Mark Reardon yesterday. We have not been able to get Ann on the air here on the morning show in quite a while. We put out the requests, and we don't hear anything back. It's weird. But we haven't had her on here in a while, but Reardon got her on actually yesterday afternoon and was asking her about redistricting, which I thought was an interesting question, because remember, when they redrew the lines the last time, it benefited CD2, her district, by a couple of points. Like it moved her out of a couple of heavily blue areas around Kirkwood and Webster, those areas, moved those into CD1, I believe, moved her district a little further north and west, and she picked up 3 or 4 points in Republican votes and easily won re-election last time. She's never really had a serious primary challenger, and she's running for re-election this time. This is what she said her conversation was with Governor Kehoe regarding redistricting this time. It sounds like whatever happens, she'll be okay with, but as I listen to it, it doesn't sound like she's over the top in favor of it.
I have been supportive of whatever the governor's efforts are in this regard, and I certainly told him that I will be supportive, and whatever the governor and president want to do moving forward. I just know this. I'm running for re-election, and I'm going to win the 2nd congressional district, whatever it looks like. And we'll just leave it to that. He'll have to call a special session.
Yeah.
And I know this. It was tough the last go around. The state house, the state senate, Missouri was the last state in the entire country to actually get a map out. So, I hope they can do it. I hope they can do it in time. I'm sure there'll be lawsuits in many of these states.
To her point, that is true. And of course, her concern has to be her own district, right? I get that.
You start carving things up.
When you move the
things
lines around,
Mm-hmm.
it could actually bump her district. It could affect CD2, even though the district we're talking about is over in Kansas City. We just don't know what the map might look like. All right. We'll get to a quick break. We're going to get a check of business here at the bottom of the hour with Nicole Murray. We'll get to in other news before the hour's out. Still giving away another pair of Doobie Brother tickets. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
We had an accident reported southbound 21 at Old 21 and an accident on northbound 270 really close to the Clayton Road overpass. I was going to say just south of 64. It's on the right shoulder, but flashing lights. So it is causing a little bit of a delay in that area. But other than those two things, we look good at this hour. And it's nice and quiet on the Illinois side as well. This report brought to you by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
The Martins came over, we were having spaghetti when we suddenly noticed that we started getting sweaty. So we grabbed the keys and we ate it in the van. That's what my friend said, call Jerry Kelly, man, JerryKelly.com. Give him a call, even though it's late, JerryKelly.com.
All right, get on the phone today with Golden Oak Lending. If you have a chance to refinance, you're interested in refinancing, you want lower rates, you've been waiting for these rates to drop. They have dropped at Golden Oak. And here's the best thing about it. You go to Golden Oak, they can get you closed within a couple of weeks probably. That means you're skipping a couple of months of house payments. You're taking some equity out that's sitting there in your house. You're putting it to use by paying off high-interest credit cards. You might end up saving yourself $1,000, $1,100 a month. $1,100 is about the average amount that homeowners are saving when they get a cash-out refinance with Golden Oak Lending. They'll take care of you. They're mortgage folks. When you call over there, you're going to be talking to an experienced mortgage officer. They're going to be able to tell you if they can help you, and they'll tell you if they can't. They're going to be honest with you. They're not going to fit you into something that you don't need, but rates have dropped, and you have a great opportunity to take advantage of that right now with Golden Oak Lending. Just call them at 314-567-GOLD. That's 314-567-GOLD. Tell them Marc Cox told you to call to see what they can do to help you get rid of some of that heavy credit card debt that may be at 30% interest. Again, that's 314-567-GOLD or goldenoaklending.com.
Many people dream of learning how to play the piano. Hi, this is Kathy from Lacefield Music, but few ever do. And here are a few of the reasons why. I can't read music, it will take too long, it's too expensive, it's too hard, or I've tried before and I failed. This would be true with most piano lessons, but not with Lacefield Music's innovative adult piano classes. With Lacefield Music's classes, you will learn how to read music and play with both your right and left hand the very first week. And you'll be able to play all your favorite songs in only 8 weeks. Maybe not fast, but you'll be able to play them. Lacefield Music's adult piano course is usually $100, but only twice a year we open this course up to the public for the low price of only $29.99. That's only $29.99 online for all 8 weeks. What have you got to lose? Classes are forming now in our Chesterfield location. Call 636-778-2070 or go to lacefieldmusic.com to sign up online. That's lacefieldmusic.com.
Missouri Grit. Marc Cox on 97.1 FM Talk. St. Louis Conservative.
But then he goes on television and says, "Oh, Trump is a dictator. He's a dictator." And a lot of people have so the line is that I'm a dictator, but I stop crime. So a lot of people say, if that's the case, I'd rather have a dictator. But I'm not a dictator. I just try to stop crime. And you would think that Illinois would have such a problem with crime, such a bad governor. He should be calling me, and he should be saying, "Could you send over the troops, please? It's out of control. It's out of control."
But he's not.
No.
And why is that? For purely political reasons, just like J.B. Pritzker allows non-citizens to arrest citizens in the state of Illinois because they can become law enforcement officers now. Just like in California, they give them driver's license and everything else. He cares more about non-citizens than he does his own voting, tax-paying citizens. That's all they care about. They don't care about your safety. They don't care if it's these illegal aliens that are driving drunk and killing you. They're going to give them sanctuary in Chicago. That's the truth of the matter. And CNN was towing the company line, but they were shocked to go onto the streets in Chicago. They're doing man on the street. We used to call it. What did you call it over there, Dan? We called it AAA.
Yeah, MOSs. Just
we
man
called
on
it
the street,
AAA. Ask any a-hole, right? When you got to go out and just walk down the street and randomly ask people, "Hey, how'd you feel about this?" That's what we called it. We inside joke there. We called it AAA. Over at CNN, they did a little bit of that. They stopped a black woman on the streets in Chicago. I guess they were expecting one thing and got something very different.
My first reaction was that this is a good thing. I think that the governor as well as the mayor should be on board with it just so we can get a bit more of security in Chicago the way that we need.
The crime has dropped since 2024. Do you feel like the city feels safer?
No, not at all. No, especially with the police being defunded.
That was not what CNN was shocked that they got that reaction live from this lady. They stopped her. She was walking down the street and they asked her this question. So it just, once again, it shows you that the left-wing politicians, they're not listening to their constituents, right?
Nor that do
they're towing the party line.
They don't care about their constituents.
They don't care about their constituents. So I had to give Jesse Waters some credit for this. He's had this guy on before, but you remember that bunch of, spineless, crazy white dudes for Kamala?
Oh,
he went back and he brought on the leader of that organization onto Fox News, onto his program, and started asking this guy about the crime problem. I'm sorry, but you've always heard the phrase hiding behind your wife's skirts or a woman's skirt or something like that. That's who these guys are. Just so you understand that. That's not toxic masculinity speaking. That's somebody who doesn't have the strength of their own convictions, or they've never been punched in the nose and they don't know that you can have that happen to you and survive. They've always been pampered, and they're going to avoid conflict at every turn. That's who the white dudes for Harris were, never planning to get anything done. So they went out and they asked this guy, what's his name here? I thought I put it on here. Maybe I didn't. They asked him what his concern was in Chicago, where he lives, with having additional feet on the ground, whether they're National Guard or police or whatever it happens to be. If you want an encapsulation of the problem with left-wing progressive Democrats, this is the guy right here. Go to cut 17.
I care about the crime that happens in Chicago, but I also care about making sure that people feel safe. And I know that I'm not going to feel safe in my city if when I take my son to school, I have to drive by a tank. I know I'm not going to feel safe if when I take him to a ball game, I'm going to see armed military members.
Okay,
there's
does that
a way
scare
to do
you
it.
to
Hey,
see a
Diane,
tank,
Jesse,
Mike?
can I finish my
Does
point?
that scare you?
Jesse,
I'd be
can I
more
finish my
scared
point,
of
though?
strays.
Yeah, exactly.
Stray bullets.
I think his name's Mike Nealis.
Nellis or
Nealis.
yeah. So he went on Jesse Waters' show, and Jesse's saying, listen, you've got to be kidding me. What is it about
a U.S. military vehicle?
Yeah, they're not there to take over the city. They're not there
and
to
it wouldn't be a tank.
impose their will.
It'd be a people carrier, usually
Right.
an
Armor-plated
Humvee
if
or
need
something,
be.
right? Uh-huh.
Yeah. Remember, this is the same group that complained that when they tried to protect our law enforcement members in Ferguson, when people were hurling rocks and bottles of urine and whatever else at them up there, that they brought out a couple of those armed personnel carriers that happen to be military surplus that were donated to local police departments, because the idea is we protect our police officers. We protect our law enforcement officers. You shouldn't be able to attack them without them having riot gear to defend themselves. But that was the militarization of the police. How dare you do that? How dare you prevent us from harming law enforcement? That's the same attitude this guy's got. I know I'd be scared if I saw a tank on the streets. You mamby-pamby liberal, get out of here.
The numbers in Chicago are outrageous too. 1 in 167 people have a violent crime committed against them in the city. Just let that sink in.
600 murders last year.
Yeah, and like 1 in 29 people will suffer this year a property crime against them in the city of Chicago. 1 in 29.
Nothing to see here, says JB Pritzker on his way to the buffet.
Yeah, that's right.
We'll be back in just a minute.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. I've been asked many times how Morgan & Morgan became the largest injury firm in the world. I think I know. When someone comes to us for an on-the-job injury, we have a huge workers' compensation practice. But many times we find a defective product that was responsible for that injury. Luckily for them, we have a product liability section headed by my son, Mike. In addition to the comp case, there's a product case too. Other times, the injured worker is fired or harassed for bringing that claim. We have them covered. Our employment lawyers handle retaliation claims as well as wage theft and discrimination cases, and in some cases need to file for Social Security benefits. No problem. We became big for a reason. 30% of our new cases come as referrals from former clients. Hiring us is easy. Go to forthepeople.com on your mobile device or computer, or call Pound Law on your cell, pound 529. Morgan & Morgan. Injured? Dial Pound Law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Major League Baseball realized they needed new rules to help grow and speed up the game. Your retirement strategy may also need updating to keep up with potential tax law changes, Social Security, or whatever curveball Uncle Sam throws your way. Call Rick and Financial for an initial no-cost portfolio x-ray. 314-207-6211. That's 314-207-6211 or online at rickandfinancial.com. Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, registered investment advisor.
Gain a global perspective and specialized skills that many of today's top employers are seeking with an MBA from University of Maryland Global Campus. Study online and complete your degree in just 16 months for about $21K. Choose from MBA specializations in global business, marketing, HR, finance, and more. No application fee if you apply by September 3rd. Learn more at umgc.edu. That's umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
For 97.1 FM Talk, I'm Dan Buck. It is 6:30. It is 57 degrees as you get out the door. A nice cool start to the day. Beginning tomorrow, though, Missourians could see their utility bills jump even higher when a host of new state laws will go into effect. Among the more than 60 new statutes is a significant change in the state utility law. Consumer advocates are warning that electric bills could go up as much as $600 annually for St. Louis residents, and as high as 10 to 15% hikes on gas, water, and even sewer bills. Other laws going into effect tomorrow include several sales tax cuts, an expansion of rights for landlords. They're no longer going to be forced to accept public housing vouchers in Missouri. The deadline for applying for tornado federal assistance ended last night at midnight. FEMA rejected St. Louis Mayor's request for a 30-day extension. In sports, Cardinals' Andre Palante got rocked, and the Cardinals got beat 8-3 last night by the Pirates. It's 6:31. I'm Dan Buck for 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
There is an accident on the shoulder, northbound 270, really near the Clayton Road overpass. And traffic is moving just a little bit slowly through that area, but it's not a serious delay. In fact, we're just now seeing the beginnings of the volume that we usually see at this hour. So that would be on northbound 270, of course, but also northbound 55, right around Bayless in the construction zone. To the south, if things are fine on 55. And we still look good eastbound 70, Highway A into downtown. And we are also quiet on the Illinois side. Looking good there as well. This report is brought to you by The Diamond Shop. The Diamond Shop, making St. Louis sparkle for over 100 years. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative. Do you know if you have enough money saved to retire? Because most of us just think, all right, we're going to save. And you do. And then you realize retirement is pretty close. And then you think, wait a minute, is this enough? That is scary. That is why you need a written retirement financial plan in place. And I recommend Financial and Tax Architects because what they do makes sense to me. And what they do is explain to you how things work and how to get the most out of retirement. And then you can say, yeah, you know what? I do want to work with these people and have them come up with that financial plan for me. And you sit down, learn about how they do things, learn about how the market works, the tax advantages that you can get. And then they'll look at everything you have, go over everything and tell you, all right, we're going to be okay. And here's how we're going to do it. But start by going to a class, 314-888-5101, 314-888-5101, and feel better about retirement.
Straight Realty has always been an industry leader when it comes to commissions, so it should come as no surprise that the recent Realtor settlement has only empowered us to continue offering our sellers even better rates. We now list homes for only 2%. Hi, I'm Christina Straight, owner of Straight Realty. Call me, 314-441-4444. Why pay more than 2? You can also listen to my podcast on my website, straightrealty.com.
Commissions are not regulated and are negotiable. Straight Realty is a licensed broker in the state of Missouri.
Cardinals fans, FanDuel Sports Network is your home of the Cardinals.
That ball was mashed.
And there are more ways to watch this season.
Holy cow!
Subscribe directly to FanDuel Sports Network to stream the Cardinals without blackouts.
How about that play?
Or watch through a TV provider.
Incredible!
Including DirecTV, Spectrum, Xfinity, Fubo, and more.
He got it!
Learn more at cardinals.com/TV.
Ball game! It couldn't have worked out any better for the Cardinals.
Midwest Made. 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
If you're feeding a person a crap sandwich with a smile, it's still a crap sandwich.
All right, I got to get this off my chest, and we'll talk more about it a little bit later. But Kara Spencer probably won't appreciate it very much. I would just have to say our mayor here in St. Louis, because yesterday Gavin Newsom turned his venom against Donald Trump on St. Louis. Did you see that?
I saw that. He's trying to compare Oakland numbers and St. Louis numbers.
Oakland, St. Louis is much more dangerous than Oakland, California, according to, and I think his numbers were wrong because we don't have, it's not 54 deaths per 100,000. The numbers are high here, but I don't think they're that high. And somebody pointed out in the post directly below it, a blown up picture. And why don't you ask the Democrat mayor about that, Gavin Newsom?
Hello.
Like, did you think you were just poking fun at St. Louis because it happens to be in a red state and not because the city of St. Louis exists in a vacuum of one party leadership for the past 75 years, right? I mean, there's been no outside influence It's been one-party rule for a long time, as it has been in a lot of these big cities, including Chicago. So the person you need to be asking that question to is the Democrat mayor of St. Louis. Now, she's been silent so
and to
far.
be fair, there is an independent oversight board that has some state appointees on it, right? I mean, it's
now
a state
now, but have they even met? I think they might have just had their first meeting.
Yeah, but I'm saying they try to have this independent council board, but the actual police oversight and the actual hiring of the people in that department and the cuts and budgets are all directly tied to the Democratic Party.
To the mayor at this point.
Yeah.
So anyway, just thought I'd point that out. Let's get to Nicole Murray, please. Hey, Nicole.
Good morning.
I gotta tell you something. I'm gonna play something, and then I'm gonna tell you what I said about you earlier.
Oh, no. Okay, tell me.
Hang on just a minute here. I gotta find it. Hold on. Oh, there it is. Hold on. Wait for it.
Oh, you didn't.
All right, so I'm listening to your newscast this morning on my way in when you're on there with Gordon Deal, and I hear you reading all the stories, and then all of a sudden your voice went up several octaves. I could tell you were excited when you got to that story about Taylor Swift. There was just more energy in you suddenly when you were so happy about reporting that.
She's been going through it. The dating sphere sucks. So the fact that she found her forever.
God.
It's a love story, isn't it? She said
a
yes.
Love story, baby. Just
I got to tell you what, I was never very good at math, but I know what the common denominator is, and in most of those failed relationships, that's Taylor Swift, right?
No. Oh my gosh, shame on you. There's so many people out there with a lot of failed relationships. Hers are just more public. So that's why it feels that
She just
way.
makes it into music.
Thank you. She's made a bunch of hits off that.
Is she going to have any songwriting ability anymore since she's not going to have hardship and breakups in her life? I mean,
Obviously, there's things with love and there's things with marriage, and who knows if they want kids. There's tons of stuff she can write about.
Okay,
Shame on you.
All right.
See, I don't have Kim here to side with you this morning. It's just the guy show here, so.
I
Way
could take
too much.
you. I'm not scared. I'm not scared. Don't worry about
we
it.
love you, Nicole. What's going on out there?
All right. Futures are slightly higher. Tuesday, the Dow Industrials gained 135, the NASDAQ up 94, the S&P 500 up 26. Union officials said Boeing has put contract negotiations with the striking machinists union on hold and has no plans to return to the table until at least after the Labor Day holiday. Talks between the two sides had only just resumed the day before for the first time since the strike began on August 4th. CEO Michael O'Leary said Boeing has bumped up its delivery schedule to budget carrier Ryanair, with 25 new aircraft expected to be delivered by October instead of the spring in next year. The plane maker is working to stabilize production after a mid-air panel blowout on a new 737 MAX in January of 2024. President Trump said he is prepared to impose economic sanctions against Russia if its president, Vladimir Putin, fails to agree to a ceasefire in its war with Ukraine. Trump has been working to secure a one-on-one meeting between Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky and Putin. A day after President Trump said he will remove Lisa Cook from her position on the Federal Reserve Board, her lawyer said she will sue to challenge the dismissal, arguing the president has no authority to remove her. The administration claims that Cook engaged in mortgage fraud before she was confirmed. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration said Ford Motor Company is recalling more than 355,000 vehicles in the U.S. over an issue with the instrument panel display. Ford's instrument panel cluster software will be updated by a dealer or through an over-the-air update. And finally, the habit of needing to watch something while eating may be linked to underlying anxiety or depression. This is because the constant need for distraction usually points to deeper emotional issues.
Well, maybe. Like, here's my thought on that. If you're eating by yourself, what's wrong with watching TV while you do it? Now, maybe if you're eating with another person, you don't want to be distracted by that, but I've never had a problem with that.
I mean, I guess the idea, though, is that if your mind can't sit in silence, why not?
Huh. I don't know. I hadn't given that a great deal of thought. I know at home I wouldn't. My wife would give me all kinds of grief if I wanted to eat dinner in front of the TV, but if I was single,
but if you're by yourself,
I was by myself.
and you're
I
trying
might
to catch up on the news or whatever of the day. Is it wrong to? I don't know.
I don't know if it's wrong, but I would agree with the emotional distress part, because if I don't have noise when I eat, I live alone. So I guess that's the part that matters most here. But when I do eat and I don't have some type of distraction, my mind races. It's like, well, what do I have to do tomorrow? What did I say to that guy 2 years ago? And oh my gosh, what do I have to do later? So,
good point.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, some of my fondest memories growing up was my dad would work shift work, and mom would make chicken pot pies, and we'd sit in front of the TV and we'd eat them watching whatever was on the TV back in the day. So
way back then.
Way back. So I was spoiled at an early age.
How about sleeping? Do you both have to have something on? I know I have people in my family who have to have a TV going in their room while they sleep. I'm like, that's insane. I want quiet silence.
No, I want
What about
noise.
noise machines? The little waves or different things people do.
I use
too.
white noise.
Do you?
Yes.
Does it help?
Well, I go to bed at 2 or 3 hours before most of the other members of my family, and I always have. So it used to be a box fan, and now that these noise machines are a thing, I've used white noise for years now, just to block out any noise outside of the bedroom.
I use the TV.
Oh, do you do it? See, that
Yeah.
would,
A lot of people do. Is it in the room with you or nearby?
It's in the room and it shows that I know well. So it's kind of like I can watch it with my eyes closed. So my
Oh.
mind doesn't start racing as I'm trying to fall asleep.
So like Real Housewives of LA, or what is it that's played in the background?
Below Deck, baby.
Below Deck.
Below
Yes.
Deck. She's revealing more about herself.
What
love
is that one about? You have to tell us. Is it a love story?
So it's
reality boat.
Yeah, basically like like those high-end yachts that you can charter. It follows the crew that lives below deck. So there's of course hookups and then drama with charter guests and all of that. So I strongly recommend it.
Would you ever take one of those chartered boats after watching that show?
I mean, yes, but it's like $150,000 a week or something.
Wow. So it's one of those really high-end yachts.
Oh,
Very high end.
It's like a ship.
7-star service.
Yeah.
Holy
So,
cow.
yes.
All right. Well, Nicole, thank you. We'll talk to you on Friday.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate that. Yeah. My wife says I need to have a bat cave to sleep in. Like we have the room darkening shades. I don't want any light in the room whatsoever. Having a TV on with the flickering of the lights and the scenes changing, that would drive me nuts.
And I would think it would affect my brain, because your brain doesn't stop hearing it.
No.
You'd be processing what you're hearing, but you're sleeping. Some people, I have family members who have to have that TV on in the room.
Of course, the other reason my wife makes fun of me, which I can laugh about because it's absolutely true, is because of, and I blame it on my sleep schedule. Maybe that's not it, but if we're just on it's just a average Saturday night and we sit down to watch a show at 8 or 9 o'clock at night, about 30 minutes later, I'm often snoring with the TV on while she's trying to watch our favorite show. Right. And I credit that to my regular sleep schedule's just all screwed up because of that, but I can fall asleep.
Yeah, I can tell you, getting on this show is the first time I haven't had good normal sleep. I usually see pillow, I'm asleep. I mean, Holly's so mad, gets so mad at me because by the time my head hits the pillow, I'm already in a deep trance.
Kim was mad about that too, because she was having trouble sleeping, obviously through her pregnancy, and I told her I could lay down on this floor right here in the studio
and be gone
with a pillow and be asleep in about 10 minutes.
I'm right
I don't
there.
think it would take any longer than
Same.
That's right. Blessed by. I'm not going to complain about that. Coming up, we're going to get to In Other News. Stick around for that. Next hour, Jeremy Rosenthal, the attorney, is going to join us, and we're going to talk to our friend Genevieve Wood about whether or not states should have more control over what their state universities are teaching. We'll talk to Genevieve at about 7:20. Stay tuned.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
We've got a little bit of volume out there now. If you're eastbound on 70, it's a little slow at Wentzville. Southbound 61 has a slow pocket or two coming out of Moscow Mills this morning. And we've got eastbound 64 slow, just moderate volume out at Wing Haven. Northbound 270, pockets of moderate volume between 21 and 64. And 55 northbound is slowing right around, I was going to say Rivas Barracks, but it's really more like Bayless as you head into the constricted part of the construction zone. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Enjoy your land the way you've always dreamed of. Learn more at MissouriBrushControl.com. Missouri Brush Control is helping landowners reclaim their property, manage vegetation, and clear land for better views. Enjoy your land the way you've always dreamed of. Missouri Brush Control, making acreage great again. Visit MissouriBrushControl.com.
All right, let's talk just for a minute about your flooring and if you need it updated. Oftentimes it's something you put off. It's not a priority oftentimes unless you got some big event coming up, or you've talked about it and you've been setting some money aside for a year or two and you've decided you're going to put new flooring in. What are you going to pick? I don't have that ability of an interior designer to know what the current trends are. And it takes a while usually for what's on the coast to reach the middle of the country. Mike Reynolds knows it all because he's always at these flooring conventions at the coast, and he's making sure he's got all this great stuff in stock at his warehouse up there in Old Town St. Peters. So you can go in there and you can get great advice. And there's I think a good chance when you walk in the door, what you'll walk out with may be a little different than what you imagined. The technology is amazing with some of the carpeting these days that Mohawk puts out there with its stain resistance. Some of what look like beautiful hardwood floors that are actually not because they're completely waterproof and you don't have to worry about spilling a glass of water on it and the wood swelling up on you. It's just fantastic. So please include Michael's if you're out there shopping. They'd love to compete for your business at Michael's Flooring Outlet. They're in Darien Prairie. They're in West St. Louis County. And, of course, they're the original store out there in Old Town St. Peters. Online anytime at IGotFloor.com. 97.1 FM Talk is proud to support the Make Missouri Pro-Life Again banquet. Marc Cox here. Join me Monday, September 8th at the St. Charles Convention Center with special guest speaker Laura Trump. Learn more at 971talk.com/events.
Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort, offering small ship experiences with a shore excursion included in every port and programs designed for cultural enrichment. Discover more at Viking.com. That's Viking.com.
Marc Cox is St. Louis conservative.
What's happening?
Go, you know the thing.
What the hell is going on?
In other news.
Well, I don't think we could start in other news today without talking about the other news of Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce, because as I was teasing Nicole about it, it really did kind of dominate the headlines yesterday. It led every newscast when this broke, like, I guess just because of the high-profile nature of it. You've got sports people on there blasting Travis and saying, this is the only ring he's going to win in the next 12 months. And I mean, the people hate the Chiefs out there in some parts of the world. They really do. I don't know. I don't know if we should care.
Oh, I know Chiefs fans who are not happy about it. They think he's now going to be distracted. It's not going to be good for them. He's just, he's lost his competitive edge. I mean, you name it. A lot of people saying that this could be the end of the end.
Well, I mean, I think, as you said earlier, his time in the league was limited anyway. I mean, he's sort of aging out. His production has dropped off a little bit, as it tends to do as you get older. Jason Kelce and everybody's all excited about it. This is if you missed this last week, this is kind of what I guess what Taylor said about their relationship on that podcast that the brothers do together here. So.
He's truly getting to know me in a way that's very natural, very pure, very normal. Also just the way that he could make me laugh so immediately about normal things. Travis is he's just a vibe booster in everyone's life that he's in. He's
wow, he's a vibe booster.
A vibe boost.
Yeah,
that's
you think
good.
Mahomes feels that way? That's a vibe boost. Dude.
Yeah. I think, just watch him on the sidelines. The dude's fun and energetic. And
I guess most normal people like us can't imagine what her fishbowl of a life must be like. To hear her talking about the fact that she can have normal conversations with him, maybe that's what it was about, right?
Yeah.
Maybe that's kind of what she's been looking for instead of somebody who's just awestruck by her stardom. She's got somebody else who's a star in his own right, and they can maybe just be more natural around.
Yeah, but she's dated a lot of stars.
She has. That's true.
I mean, most of the people she's dated have been
high profile.
Yeah, I won't say as famous as her, but I think she dated a Jonas brother who is famous, or John Mayer for a while, and he's famous. It's not like she's dating some guy off the street.
One of my other news ties to this, though, did you hear the St. Louis County Parks and Rec poked a little fun at the celebrity news yesterday? They came out with a Facebook post that said, "Hey, Taylor and Travis, if you're looking for a great wedding venue, we've got you covered at St. Louis County Parks and Recs."
Oh, God.
Only a short drive from KC. They threw out the Mansion Garden at Bee Tree Park. They threw out the Bissell House Wedding Garden.
Wow.
And, they needless to say, we got crickets. I don't think they're going to get married in a park. What do you think? I don't.
Pretty good advertisement.
I
though.
think they're going to be on a $150,000 a week yacht, maybe.
Yeah, or something in Milan, or something, just something huge. Money is just no object here.
And private. They're obviously going to have to go somewhere that's not going to have the paparazzi, raining down on their festivities. So, Sue, what do you think? Where will they get married?
I don't know. I'm torn on that too. Not that I care. I feel weird talking about it.
Yeah.
But I think, it'll either be super normal and private, or just, I don't think there's much in the middle. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Over the top private, or just simple private.
Yeah. Well, maybe like I told you, this is sort of, I've told the story before, but my first introduction to Taylor Swift was 15 years ago when I had a boat. Like before she became famous, she was on the cover of Sea Ray magazine, because I would get that because I owned a Sea Ray. She was on the cover of Sea Ray magazine on her parents' boat outside of Nashville with a guitar in her hand, and the story was about the next country music superstar. This 15-year-old girl was a picture of her signing her first contract to record, which is the first time I'd ever seen her. And then obviously they were right, because it kind of blew up after that. Yeah. So
have we hit our Taylor Travis quota yet? Can we move on to something else?
Please.
Okay. The Missouri Department of Health reports that the percentage of kindergarten students in Missouri vaccinated against diseases like measles and whooping cough is dropping each and every year as more parents turn to non-medical exemptions for their kids' first day of school. Only 90% of Missouri kindergarten students now have been immunized from the measles, mumps, and rubella. That's according to the Missouri Health Department. That's
Right.
down from like 95% just 5 years ago.
So I'm waiting for the panic story from the Post or Channel 4, Channel 5 on it, where they gasp and can you believe that it's dropped? And if your child's vaccinated, you have nothing to worry about.
Yeah, there you go. If you believe in them so much, just be vaccinated. If they work so well, then what are you worried about?
I'm not anti-vax. I'm just saying when they had that measles outbreak down in Texas somewhere in a community where they didn't believe in vaccinations, well, if you're vaccinated, it's not going to affect you.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
And what was the death toll
paranoia
there? I'm sorry. What was the death toll there?
I think maybe one person
No,
died.
No, not a child.
Nobody died?
No children died.
Okay.
No. It was an outbreak, but nobody died. I mean, when we were kids, measles and chicken pox were part of the deal. Yeah. I mean,
true.
it was like, whatever. Anyway, the headline was something like, "We're holding our breath," was the quote from the department. And I'm like, no, the headline should have said more and more parents saying no to the MMR shots.
Wow. So something similar to this, the story I'm about to tell you, I think happened to like one of the governors of South Carolina before Nikki Haley, where he met some woman online and he like ran off and had an affair with her somewhere in South America or something. There's a Wisconsin father who faked his own death on a kayaking trip just so he could go live with his online Eastern European girlfriend. And they finally caught up with the guy. Ryan Borgwart is his name. He's 45. He was sentenced to 89 days in the county jail after pleading no contest to a misdemeanor charge of obstructing an officer during his hearing. But I would think that...
Wait, that's all you get for faking your death?
Well, no, I think this is for interfering with a police officer, but I can't believe he's not in more trouble than that for faking his death. He regrets the pain that he caused his family and friends as he addressed the court before his sentencing. Maybe that's all he's going to get is 3 months in jail.
Wow.
Maybe there was no insurance fraud. Maybe I don't know.
I know of somebody who had a relative that did that, and it was essentially so that he was in debt, and by the time he got back, he was found. They had paid off, his relatives had paid off his bills.
Oh.
And I mean, people do this, I think, more than you realize.
That's crazy.
It is so nuts.
It is. I would just think that would be a felony. I mean, that's like fraud at a deep level.
It should be.
Right, just for being a jerk.
Well, because if your spouse just suddenly disappeared, after a while you didn't find him, you probably would file for the insurance if you got him declared dead.
Yeah,
That's not fraud if you really don't know where the hell they are.
Yeah.
So that's just,
check the European girlfriend.
Yeah, no kidding. Check that computer for sure. Take it to a computer repair shop. Work for Hunter. All right, coming up, we're going to get to Genevieve Wood. We'll talk a little bit more about the fact that Chicagoans are claiming that crime is down, but the people that the Chicago officials, but the people that live there aren't buying it. Of course, we're going to talk to Genevieve Wood about that. We'll give away some Doobie Brother tickets still ahead. Stay tuned.
He's Donald Trump's #1 enemy in Congress, Chicago Senator Dick Durbin. And now Dick Durbin has a new scheme, a government takeover of your credit card. Today, consumers have thousands of choices in credit cards, all with equal, strong security. But Durbin's plan is less competition and less security. And that means more risk for your credit and your identity. Tell Republicans in Congress, stop Dick Durbin's takeover of your credit card before it's too late.
Paid for by Electronic Payments Coalition.
Trucking accidents can change your life in an instant. The injuries, the bills, the stress. It's overwhelming. That's why you need a legal team that understands what you're going through and knows how to fight for what you deserve. At Kaufman Townsley, we've helped real people in St. Louis get real results after serious truck crashes. We know the roads, we know the law, and we know how to win. Kaufman Townsley, real people, real results. Call 314-500-5000. That's 314-500-5000.
When you're approaching retirement, there are a lot of questions to answer. Do you have enough money to fund your income for life? How should you claim Social Security? And what's your plan for health care and long-term care? Hi, I'm Eric Robert, Director of Investments with the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel and host of On the Money Saturday mornings at 11 on 97.1 FM Talk. Don't leave your retirement to chance. It's crucial to understand and address relevant risks before you retire. Our team can help you get organized, guide you through critical retirement decisions, and create an investment portfolio designed around your needs. To schedule your free retirement plan consultation, go to clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com, or call us at 636-695-2650. That's clearpathinvesting.com or 636-695-2650. Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member SIPC and NYSE.
The Cards, the Pirates.
Siteman Cancer Center, game time 6:45. Play ball. Siteman Cancer Center, national leader in cancer.
The home of the Cardinals. 104.1 FM KMOX.
Calling all future sportscasters. Sharpen your skills and learn from the best of the Missouri Broadcasters Association Sportscasters Forum, Tuesday, September 16th in St. Louis. Join Cardinals beat reporters, broadcasters, and the legendary John Rooney, the voice of the Cardinals, for insider sessions on play-by-play, interviewing, reporting, and more. Then cap the day with a Cards-Reds game at Busch Stadium. Open to college students and broadcasting pros. Just $10 for students, lunch, and a game ticket. Space is limited. Register by September 2nd at MissouriBroadcasters.org.
Tony La Russa here. Men, are you running out of stamina rounding third base? If so, call my friends at Victory Men's Health in O'Fallon, Illinois. Scoring at home is important, just as important as crossing the plate with the winning run. VictoryMen'sHealth.com.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-500-5000.
That's 314-500-5000.
All on the free Odyssey app.
Capital punishment in the Capitol. Gianna Gelosi, Fox News. D.C. logged its first homicide in nearly 2 weeks, and President Trump's crime crackdown continues. Now it could mean the death penalty.
Anybody murders something in the Capitol, capital punishment, capital punishment.
Fox's Kevin Cork.
President Trump weaving in and out of various cabinet reports and the like. He remains laser focused on cleaning up the crime problem in the nation's capital, calling for the reinstatement of the death penalty for murder cases in this city. The president's comments coming amid his administration's efforts to reduce crime in D.C., one that's already seen over 1,000 arrests since August the 7th, 8 known gang members, including members of MS-13 and Tren de Aragua, the recovery of 2 missing children, and, of course, the seizure of more than 110 firearms.
Now, Washington, D.C. does not have the death penalty, but the Trump administration has been pushing police to charge suspects with federal crimes, some of which do carry the death penalty. And President Trump says he's ready for a court fight over his firing of the Federal Reserve governor.
The president says he's not concerned about a lawsuit to block his removal of Lisa Cook from the Federal Reserve Board.
We need people that are 100% above board, and it doesn't seem like she was.
President Trump says he has cause to fire Cook because of an allegation of mortgage fraud from the Federal Housing Finance Agency.
She seems to have had an infraction, and she can't have an infraction, especially that infraction.
The president denies his action is related to Cook joining a majority of board members opposed to an interest rate reduction. Her attorney calls the firing unlawful. A statement from the Federal Reserve notes the board's independence, but says it will abide by any court order. At the White House, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
Now, Cook's lawyer says they're filing a lawsuit to challenge that firing. America's listening to Fox News.
Hello, I'm Joe Cordell, founder of Cordell & Cordell. Divorce is complicated, especially when your small business or professional practice is involved. At Cordell & Cordell, we understand that these assets raise unique valuation and allocation issues. For 35 years, we've helped doctors, lawyers, and small business owners navigate divorce with confidence. Call Cordell & Cordell today, because your business is more than a job, it's your legacy.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. 600 Kelwood, St. Louis. CordellCordell.com.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
For 97.1 FM Talk, I'm Dan Buck. It's 7:03, 58 degrees. The Boeing machinist strike has no end in sight. The two sides met for a few hours on Monday. However, both sides say little or no progress was made and no follow-up negotiations are scheduled, as that strike will be a month long come September 4th. Beginning tomorrow, Missourians could see their utility bills jump even higher when a host of new state laws go into effect. Among the more than 60 new statutes, a significant change in the state utility law. Consumer advocates are warning that electric bills in the St. Louis area could go up as much as $600 a year, as well as a 10 to 15% hike on gas, water, and even sewer bills. Other laws going into effect do include several sales tax cuts and expanded rights for landlords who will no longer be forced to accept public housing vouchers in Missouri. The deadline for applying for tornado federal aid assistance has ended at midnight last night, as FEMA rejected the St. Louis mayor's request for a 30-day extension. Already, FEMA has accepted over 8,300 applicants, approving more than $40 million in aid. In sports, the Cardinals' Andre Pallante got rocked again for 8 runs in the first 3 innings as the Pirates beat the Redbirds 8-3 on Tuesday night. Pallante has now lost 9 of his last 11 starts. Game 3 of that 4-game series is tonight at Busch at 6:45. It's 7:04 and 57 degrees. I'm Dan Buck on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Well, we've got an accident reported eastbound 70 near David Hochul Parkway, and of course there's some volume behind that. Accident reported Howder-Shell at Dunn, Clarkson at 6440, and 94 at South Breeze. Now, southbound 61 is a slow go, headed for 6440 this morning. We've got some volume eastbound 70, Lake St. Louis Boulevard, and 64, some slow pockets out west. Same thing with 70, but on 70, there was an accident just past Hanley. That one just reported. So a slow go there. And northbound 270, moderate volume at Gravois, and again headed from Manchester. Southbound is slowing at 64. 55 northbound slowing, especially around Bayless, and moderate volume for the length of the Poplar Street Bridge. That's if you are headed in from Illinois. This report is brought to you by Barron Mirror Glass and Door. Barron Mirror Glass and Door is simply the best. And it's when it comes to mirror glass and shower doors especially. You can't find better quality, prices, or service than at Barron Mirror Glass and Door. They have the basics all the way up to the elite. Barron Mirror Glass and Door can't be beat. I'm Sue Thomas with Traffic 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
Our spectacular late August weather continues. Wonderful out the door this morning. Partly sunny skies. This afternoon, let's look for a high of 79, 80 degrees. Tonight, a few clouds around. 60 Thursday, partly sunny. Maybe a spot shower, but tough to find. Mainly holding way south-southwest. 81 for the high. Friday, sunny. And an enjoyable 82. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Another gorgeous day today at 7:06 and starting out at 57 degrees. You're going to be able to listen to the Marc Cox Morning Show and all the great shows here on 97.1 FM Talk. Anytime, anywhere you go, all you have to do is download that free Odyssey app.
The Marc Cox Morning Show is brought to you by Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group, retirementkey.com.
This is the Marc Cox Morning Show.
America, this is Al Gore. 3 things are certain. Hanging chads suck. I'm getting rich off this climate scam, and you are listening to the Marc Cox Show.
All right, welcome back on a Wednesday. Glad you are with us. In here with Daniel Buck, filling in for Kim, and good to have you, Dan.
Hey, it's good to be here. It's a lot of fun. The only thing not fun is the 3:30 alarm clock.
That'll get you every time.
It's tough.
The one downside to this show, but I pop out of bed every morning ready to go because there's always so much to talk about.
Lots to talk about.
There is, including, in fact, in the break, we should do a show during the break each day. We're in here lamenting the Cardinals pitching woes. And I said to Dan, first of all, they've got to go spend some money on some pitching. We know that. And then I saw somebody post the other day, how about Trevor Bauer? Like, the guy has a little bit of baggage that goes along with him, but he's going to put butts in the seat.
Oh,
and he's still a good pitcher.
And I said, I'm not going to pay money for seats until this team gets respectable. I'd pay for that.
I would to see that.
I would go. I would buy a ticket. I would buy tickets for my whole family to go if Trevor Bauer made a start down the stretch here and got back to the major league. Somebody should give the guy a chance.
Yeah.
Now they say, oh, he's a clubhouse cancer. Oh, and Contreras and some of these other guys aren't. I mean, come on. Let's give the guy a break. We need pitching. We need somebody who can go out there and shove it. And when I say shove it, go after people. Palante just is amazing to me how that guy is the most inconsistent good one. He hasn't been good since June. I mean, the guy's lost 9 of his last 11 starts. And just throws meatballs. I mean, thigh high down the middle. I mean, I honestly think there's times I could hit it.
You really?
I do.
Yeah, well, you went 5 for 6 the other day.
Well, but I mean, I'm going against 78, not 98. But it's just amazing to me that he's a big league pitcher and makes as many mistakes as he does. He'll throw 6 quality pitches and then just gut one.
We need to kick that around with Tom Ackerman. He's always in studio with us on Mondays and Thursdays. So tomorrow morning we'll see what he thinks about the Trevor Bauer situation.
Here's a guy who's proven himself time and time again in that Japanese league, and they continue to ignore him. And to me, there's got to be some collusion here because you don't have a guy dominating in that league. I mean, this is a league that's very reputable. It's produced people like Ohtani and other people. If you're getting people out over there as consistently as he has done for the past 4 seasons, and really was a very successful major league pitcher before he got blackballed and
Cy Young winner.
Yeah. And I mean, the fact that this league continues to blackball, and there's got to be collusion. The owners have to be together saying nobody signed this guy.
Something else going on there for sure. All right, coming up, we will get to our friend Genevieve Wood from Heritage, our regular Wednesday guest here in just a few minutes, and attorney Jeremy Rosenthal at the bottom of the hour. Lots to talk to him about, including Elon Musk suing Apple over OpenAI and a lot of other issues going on. So we'll get to Jeremy at the bottom of the hour. We got more Doobie Brothers tickets. We're giving away a pair every day this week. We're going to do that before the end of the show today, so be sure and stay tuned. That probably happened in the 8 o'clock hour, if I'm looking at my rundown here properly. We'll see what happens.
And wait, how do we win that again? You're listening for the music, right? You're going to call it out.
You'll hear. We'll call it out.
All right.
You'll hear the Doobie
right.
Brothers song coming in, and then we'll let Dan pick which number the winner is going to be today.
Lucky 6 was it yesterday.
So just write it. Don't call now. 314-241-9797 is that call-in number, just to remind you. So you got it loaded into your phone. You can start dialing when we do that, probably next hour. But right now, I want to go ahead and get to our short list, please.
The Marc Cox short list.
The military needs to answer for what happened in Afghanistan. So upon the president's direction, immediately we initiated an investigation which showed that there needed an even deeper dive. We're doing it on behalf of the American people.
Yep, Pete Hegseth yesterday in that cabinet meeting saying, hey, yesterday was the 4-year anniversary of Abbey Gate, an American disaster story in Afghanistan that has never been, not a single head rolled in the top ranks of the military after that happened. Nobody was held responsible, really. And I think Hegseth's going to get to the bottom of it.
Every time I think they're going to right the ship, they go backwards a little further. They're further down today than they were with the election. I think if the election was reheld today, President Trump would win by a bigger margin. It's unbelievable.
Yep, Kevin McCarthy there, still at it, not speaker, not in Congress anymore, but he's got a few thoughts about what might happen next year in the midterm.
The Democrat Party, because basically everything the Democrat Party says is just against Trump. So he gets to determine the entire agenda of the Democrat Party. And now he runs Cracker Barrel, all from the Oval Office.
Yeah, if you're on my Facebook page, look at that meme I posted on there, that AI with Trump dancing with Uncle Herschel on the front of the Cracker Barrel sign. It's pretty funny, but it's also true. Trump says, listen, you need to go back to the old logo. Boom. The company announces overnight, we're going back to Uncle Herschel and the old logo. That was fantastic.
And the store renovations of gutting all these stores and trying to make
I don't know if that changes or not.
I think it is. Yep. They're going to keep the look too.
We'll see.
Yep.
1 in 12.5 boys. Think of those numbers. So there has to be something artificially causing this, meaning a drug or something. And I know you're looking very strongly at.
Yeah, President Trump yesterday, again, during his cabinet meeting, the 7th one of those he's held. He invites the media in. He lets each department head have a say, and then they get down to business. He's probably done more of those in 6 months than Joe Biden did in 4 years.
Well, he didn't even do.
Well, he did 1 or 2.
No, I'm saying like the last couple of years, he didn't even have the meetings. He didn't have cabinet meetings. People weren't even invited to the White House to brief him on things.
Yeah.
I mean, and the fact we're letting the media in.
They were hiding him.
Oh, yeah. But I'm saying now the most if people hate Donald Trump, the one thing you can never criticize him for is not being transparent enough. I mean, this guy is an open book, and to allow the cameras in while everybody reports to the president what's going on in their departments, that's unheard of. No one's ever done that with cabinet meetings.
I would agree with that. And I want to get more to that autism story, but where's that Trump bite where he talks about the Russian-Ukraine peace process? Cut number 15, the one we probably had to clean up, right?
It doesn't matter what they say. Everybody's posturing. It's all okay. Everybody's posturing. Steve, do you have a different answer?
I agree with you, sir.
Yeah, he's talking. Steve Woodcock. He's talking about the Russia-Ukraine peace process. He's just comes to mind. It comes to mouth, which was great because yesterday they were talking about autism, and if you didn't hear this interaction, he asked RFK kind of explain to us what you're looking at and really what the problem is and when you think you're going to have a solution. Listen,
we're finding certain interventions now that are clearly, almost certainly causing autism. And we're going to be able to address those in September.
It's such a big day. I'm looking forward to that day because there's something wrong when you see the kind of numbers that you have today versus 20 years ago. And those numbers, what are those numbers, Bob?
Well, in 1970, the biggest epidemiological study in history was done in Wisconsin. They looked at 900,000 children, and they were looking for autism. They knew what it looked like, and they were very, very precise about it. And they found an incident rate of 0.7, in other words, less than 1 per every 10,000 children. Today, our most recent numbers are 1 in every 31 kids. It's probably actually much worse than that, because California, which has the best collection system, is reporting 1 out of every 19 children, American children, has autism, 1 in every 12.5 boys.
Oh my gosh. It's such a dramatic increase. It has to be environmental. They have to figure out, what have we done differently since 1970 that's led to this?
And there's one glaring thing. We used to have 16 shots in the total cycle for a child in 1970. Today, that number is 70 shots from the time you were born to the time you were 18 years old. Think about that. And you talk about environmental changes. There's no medical change in the environment of health than the vaccine schedule. Nothing. So again, which ones are they? Which of those are the most dangerous? That's what I'm anxious for the CDC and the NIH to really explore with real boards and real experts, not people from the pharmaceutical industry trying to decide that.
Well, hope we get to that next month sometime. He hasn't put a date on that news conference, but September obviously is just around the corner. So we'll look forward to that. All right, quick break here. We'll get to our friend Genevieve Wood when we come back.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Well, we've got a couple of issues on the roads. There was an accident eastbound 70, really close to Hanley. It's on the right-hand side, and it's causing a delay back through the Interbelt. Also slow is eastbound 70 right at 270. Now, eastbound 64, some moderate volume, Lake St. Louis Boulevard, slower at Wing Haven. Then things open up a little bit slow at Timberlake Manor and at 170. We've got southbound 170 slowing at 40 and northbound 270, slow pockets of moderate volume 55 through 64. And southbound 270 slowing at Ladue Road, northbound 55 slow ramping onto 270, and then again at Bayless. And we do have some moderate volume headed for and crossing the Poplar Street Bridge. This report brought to you by Lakeside Renovation and Design. For over 25 years, they've been St. Louis's trusted choice for transforming homes inside and out. And this is from windows and siding to kitchens, bathrooms, outdoor spaces, and they deliver quality craftsmanship backed by lifetime warranties. Visit lakesiderd.com to start your dream project today. I'm Sue Thomas with Traffic, 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative. Most people, when they think about retirement, think, okay, this is going to be all right. We've saved some money, but we don't know as an average person how to make the system work to our advantage. In other words, what tax code are we missing out on that we could be taking advantage of? And how do we know that we're getting the most out of the system? Oh, this is why it's such a good idea to have a written retirement financial plan in place. And that's what financial and tax architects help you with. They've helped people all over St. Louis retire with confidence. And what they do is go over these tax-efficient retirement strategies. Here's how and when to claim Social Security. Here's income planning. Here's investment guidance. So you sit down with them. They teach you a little bit about how the system works. And then you can get a plan that they have put together with you for your retirement. Call 314-888-5101, 314-888-5101, and get a handle on that retirement.
Now through September 1st, it's a Labor Day sale at Zero Res. Get 3 rooms for $119 plus a free hallway and $75 off your air ducts. Call 314-474-2020 or go to ZeroResSTL.com.
Baseball is all about stepping up to the plate when it matters most. And when you've been injured, you need a heavy hitter in your corner. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm. Proud sponsor of the St. Louis Cardinals.
Injured? Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Live, local, and conservative. This is the Marc Cox Morning Show, 97.1 FM Talk.
the addiction on jails and incarceration in this country. We have moved past that. It is racist, it is immoral, it is unholy, and it is not the way to drive violence down.
The stars at night are big and bright, deep in the heart of Texas.
Genevieve Wood joining us, senior advisor with the Heritage Foundation. Genevieve, good morning to you.
Good morning, Mark.
That was the Chicago mayor, and the stupidity knows no end. He's trying to tell me that if somebody commits a crime and you lock them up, it must be racist to do that, and it doesn't solve the problem. When most of us with a little shred of common sense realize the best way to stop recidivism is to put bars between the criminal and his next victim.
That's exactly right. The Chicago mayor is saying a lot of crazy stuff lately, and I think it's because he knows his city's out of control. The crime is out of control. I don't know. I'm sure many people in your listener audience have been to Chicago. You're fairly close by. They have seen over the years how that city has just gone down, and not just down in the areas that we all know are hard, but the city itself. I mean, the main street that people used to go as tourists and shopping, and a lot of those stores are just boarded up. And that's been on the watch of not just him, but all of his Democrat mayor predecessors. Things have not gotten better. They've gotten worse by and large across the board. And so where's the problem? The problem is with their policies. Yeah. So he can talk about, he can talk about all these things and everything's racist. They've been in charge. So if it's racist, then they're the racist. I mean, it's just crazy when you look at the record. Who are they blaming?
I haven't gotten to the bite edited yet, but I saw it this morning with a DNC official who looked into a TV camera, pretty sure it was on CNN, and said, well, here's what we know. As soon as the National Guard goes away, the crime's going to go back up. And I'm looking at her I'm gap-jawed. I'm like, so you're admitting that more feet on the ground fixes the problem. Your solution is to take away more feet on the ground.
And that, not just exactly right. And her comments are the same kind of comments you hear out of Madami in New York, and that you hear in Chicago, and even in DC, where you have a lot of fewer cops on the streets because many decided to leave because they didn't feel supported, they didn't feel they could do their jobs, and they've had a really hard time backfilling those positions, people who retired early. And then you have a lot of these folks like the mayoral candidate in New York saying, oh, we need to turn police officers into social workers, basically. We need fewer people, carrying guns and walking the streets. We need them as social workers. And those are the policies in city after city where you see crime going through the roof.
Yeah, Dan and I were talking about this earlier. The leader of White Dudes for Harris said on Fox last night that he's frightened if he sees a tank on the street in Chicago, which is why he doesn't. I'm like, if you're not a criminal, if you're not committing a crime, number one, why would that frighten you? And number two, why wouldn't you want our troops protected? Like they're not going to be M1 tanks on the street. What you're talking about are maybe armored personnel carriers,
Humvees or something, right? Yeah, and not to mention. Do you get scared when you're at a football game and 5 jets fly over your head? I mean, what is the fear of a good guy with a gun?
Yeah.
I mean, whether it's a police officer or a military member.
They're making it up. They say this is scaring criminals, basically, right? While the free citizens who are scared every day to walk out and just to go to the metro, to get on the subway, to walk into their local CVS or Walgreens, where people are just going in and taking stuff out, and there's just kind of chaos. And I mean, I've lived in DC. I know when you see this kind of chaos, you just constantly feel unsettled on the streets. The criminals don't feel that way. The guys, riding down on the crazy bikes, masked with hoodies on, doing the pop-up wheelies, they're not scared. Now, when you put those armored vehicles out, maybe that does send a message to people doing that kind of activity. So as the city dweller who sees that kind of stuff, I welcome more police. I welcome a few armed vehicles. They're going to stop the other kind of madness that I can't myself control. And I think that's what these guys just don't, the left doesn't realize is like, as citizens, there's things I can do myself. I can pay my taxes. I can go to work. I can, raise my family. But I can't control the crime as an individual person on the street. That is a role for government, whether it's city level, state level, federal level. We need that kind of protection. And I think Trump is showing, and DC is case in point, that it can work if you're willing to do it. And certain policies work better than others. And that's what the left is freaked out about, is that people are actually seeing that.
Genevieve, I knew when it came out of his mouth in his impromptu press conference about the dictator. Isn't it amazing to you how the mainstream media, I'm reading right now, Newsweek just put out an article, says Donald Trump says maybe people like dictators. He was being off the cuff joking about that. Like if crime is down and they're all saying, well, I'm a dictator, then maybe people want more dictators because crime is down. I mean, he was just making a joke, a reference. And of course, they're now saying he's endorsing dictators. It's insane to me.
It is insane, but they've been saying that about Trump for a long time.
True.
This isn't the first time they've thrown out that term, and I think he just sounded like, "What the heck? You know what? Is that what it really is? Okay, well then I'll play that for the day."
Whatever, if it works.
Let's just make fun of him, exactly, because it's so totally ridiculous. But you know what? You do need your mayors, you do need your governors, your elected officials to enforce the law. That's just called doing your job. That's not being a dictator. It's putting bad guys in jail, putting bad folks in prison, getting them off the streets. That's just doing your job. The left can call it what they want, but I think most people do look at it and say, yeah, I want that.
There's a great article in the Daily Signal. Red states shouldn't forget the future of university education. I'm turning a kid over to college next year, and I'm worried about this. Just as briefly as you can, what's the goal here? To change the way these professors are tenured?
That's part of the goal. It's saying that, look, you can start new conservative universities, and that's all great stuff. But a lot of our kids, the majority of them, still go to state-run schools where the vast majority of professors are way left of center, not just moderately left, way left. And if it's in the humanities and those types of areas, it's even worse.
Sure.
So it's going in and saying we need to change these graduate programs and making sure that the students that are going to be the teachers of the future are not left-wing lunatics, which is what you have on a lot of college campuses right now.
I've never understood why the legislature hasn't reached in and impacted that in to a greater degree than they have. It's just amazing. Genevieve Wood, thank you as always. You're great. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
All right. We'll talk to you soon. Genevieve Wood, senior advisor there with Heritage. Love getting, she's so knowledgeable about all of these cases and some great stories there on dailysignal.com. Go check them out for sure. All right. Coming up here, we're going to talk to Jeremy Rosenthal, the attorney. There's so much stuff going on, including what he can do about the president can do about this Fed chief. We'll get to all of it coming up.
What's your favorite four-letter word? Chances are you've said it more than a few times dealing with this crazy world we live in. But at Compass Retirement Solutions, our four-letter word of choice is hope. Hope for a better tomorrow. And hope that your retirement plans don't take a back seat. You've watched inflation soar. And maybe your retirement future feels a little uncertain right now. But all hope is not lost. Find out exactly how much risk you're still taking with your investments. Find out how you may be able to save big on taxes. And find out how having a written retirement plan just might give you the hope you've been looking for. Call today to set up a meeting. 314-373-1598. That's 314-373-1598. Compass Retirement Solutions. 314-373-1598. Firm offers insurance services but does not provide tax advice. Investments and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory firm in Missouri and Illinois. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal.
All right, let me brag a little bit about my friends at Lit Cigar Lounge. Honestly, I was out there before this concert the other night at the factory, enjoying one of their great barrel-aged old fashions, which are outstanding, and I hope you get a chance to get over there and take advantage of that for sure. They do so many great things. Their Cars and Cigars event the other night was it was huge. Great turnout. If you haven't been out there, you got to go. Live music every Friday night. If you like cigars, premium hand-rolled cigars, finest cigars that you can get your hands on are available out there. I've already mentioned the drinks. The cocktails are great. Private lockers are available if you want, but you don't have to do that. Just go in and own it. It's where luxury meets comfort. You're gonna love Lit Cigar Lounge down in the district there in Chesterfield. You can follow them online. Tell them you heard Marc Cox bragging about them. Visit litstl.com or follow them on social media.
For 97.1 FM Talk, I'm Dan Buck. It is 7:30 and 58 degrees. Federal prosecutors have subpoenaed records about a June altercation at a St. Louis University hospital in which a sheriff's deputy working secondary security allegedly assaulted a patient in a wheelchair. According to a KSDK report, the incident is now under review by a federal grand jury. The hospital confrontation is part of a new series of subpoenas that broaden the scope of the federal probe into Sheriff Alfred Montgomery's office. The Boeing machinist strike has no end in sight. The two sides met for a few hours on Monday. However, both sides say little to no progress was made and no follow-up negotiations are scheduled. That strike will enter its full first month on September 4th. The Cardinals starter Andre Palante got rocked again last night, gave up 8 runs in the first 3 innings in the Cardinals' 8-3 loss to the Pirates. Game 3 of that 4-game series is tonight at Busch. For 97.1 FM Talk, I'm Dan Buck, St. Louis conservative.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Well, we've got some volume out there this morning and an incident eastbound 70 near Hanley in the right lane causing delays. 70 eastbound, well, we'll call it slow pockets approaching Wentzville through that accident. Then things open up. 64, some slow pockets out west and a little bit at Clarkson and Timberlake Manor, and again Lindbergh through Big Bend. Eastbound Page is slowing at 270. Moderate volume on northbound 270, and that's between 55 and Ladue Road. And northbound 55 slowing in the right lanes, ramping on there to 270. But also around Bayless and to the north of there in the construction zone. And traffic is slowing westbound, headed for and crossing the Poplar Street Bridge. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis conservative.
Enjoy your land the way you've always dreamed of. Learn more at MissouriBrushControl.com. Missouri Brush Control is helping landowners reclaim their property, manage vegetation, and clear land for better views. Enjoy your land the way you've always dreamed of. Missouri Brush Control, making acreage great again. Visit MissouriBrushControl.com.
All right, I need to tell you a little bit about Zero Res and maybe what sets them apart from the competition. Well, part of it is no harsh chemicals. What they do is safe for your family. It's safe for your pets. It doesn't put that stuff into the carpet or the fabric. Then you have to worry about it, right? They can zero resify carpets, tile, hardwood, rugs, upholstery, air ducts. Every surface in your home can be zero resified. You just have to call my cleaning pros over there at Zero Res, and they're going to take care of it. They, of course, have a 4.9 rating on Google, over 5,800 reviews. And right now, through September 1st, and time is ticking, they have their Labor Day sale going on at Zero Res. 3 rooms for $119 plus free hallways and $75 off your air ducts. So call Zero Res today and tell them you heard Marc Cox talking about it and you want to take advantage of that. 314-474-2020. That's 474-2020. Ask for the 97.1 Labor Day special. Go online to ZeroResSTL.com.
We, without hesitation, recommend that anybody work with ThrottleNet. The experience will be as good as it's been for us, for anybody, because you'll get a true partnership and you'll be able to rest easy that you're going to get the service that you need while they're also doing all those things that you don't want to have to think about, that you don't want to have to worry about. They're always doing that in the background for you.
Don't wait for your next IT crisis. If your business depends on technology, you need a partner that's got your back. Contact ThrottleNet.com to get a free IT evaluation and see how we can support your IT everything.
Built in the heartland, for the heartland. 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis conservative.
You are becoming part of the issue. You are becoming part of the antithesis of what we fought for 4 years.
Yeah, that's Alina Habba, who is out in her appointed role there as an acting U.S. attorney. And now the question is, why did that happen? And we've got Jeremy Rosenthal, attorney, on the phone with us this morning. Jeremy, welcome back. How are you?
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing fine, thank you. I haven't read a lot about this. Part of the problem was, I understand, the DOJ is going to appeal this ruling disqualifying Alina Habba as the New Jersey prosecutor. What's the story here?
Okay, so there's a lot of federal officials that are appointed to service your local areas, St. Louis, Missouri, all these things. You have a U.S. attorney who represents the federal government for whatever federal districts there are. You also have judicial appointments that are federal in nature. The reason why you see the local people occupying those roles and why you don't have randos from New York or California or Texas or wherever doing those is because your senators kind of have the ability to object to it. And your senators can sort of control. You need Senate confirmation for all of those jobs, and your senator can keep you off the floor. So usually the juice isn't worth the squeeze for the White House, even in a hostile state, right? Joe Biden knows who he can get through in Missouri and who he can't. And Donald Trump knows who he can get through in New Hampshire and who he can't. So Alina Habba is a lawyer who is a personal lawyer for Trump, a litigation attorney, civil, qualified in every respect, at least for civil things. This is more of a criminal post. The Democratic senators blocked her, wouldn't let her get a vote on the floor of the Senate, and her temporary appointment expired, and it has turned into a holy mess. And it's been a very difficult fight because Trump has been, Donald Trump doesn't like no a whole lot, and he's been doing what he can do to try to get her that spot.
Well, he's mad at Chuck Grassley, from what I can tell, because Grassley, this ability to use, what is it called, a blue card or something, where you can vote against it, and it's a gentleman's agreement. It's not like an official rule, and Donald Trump is urging Grassley to overturn that.
Right. So it's the rules of the Senate, and it is. It's interesting to see how far Grassley will go here, right? Because you do want, to some degree, right? You do want that local flavor. You don't want necessarily the next president of the United States to come in, and if he's not friendly to the state of Missouri, you don't want. Okay, well, all right, now we get stuck with you. You've never been here before, and you're from Vermont, and I guess now you're presiding over Missouri cases or prosecuting people in Missouri. So the question is how much do we really want? Are we really going to bend the rules for Alina Habba? Do we want it that badly? Legally, what happened was her term expired. So the president can appoint you, or the attorney general rather can appoint you as an interim, and that I think expires after 90 days. It expired, and then it got weird. The court stepped in and appointed somebody to fill the role. The DOJ fired her, and the Trump administration had a 3 or 4 or 5 point end around to try to get Alina Habba back. Where it kind of gets serious, because really, this is glorified HR, really, when it comes down to it. Where it really gets serious is some of the defendants now who are being prosecuted are trying to get their case thrown out by saying Alina Habba can't prosecute me. And I don't think they get their cases thrown out, but it's slowing things down. It's plugging up New Jersey, which New Jersey is probably plugged up in a lot of ways. But yeah, it's plugging up their court docket. It's a backup. It's a real problem.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah. Other legal news that are top of mind for you right now? There's so many things going on in the Trump administration. It seems like a new lawsuit every day. What do you have your eyes on?
Boy, I'll tell you what, I go to bed at night and I dream about law. Okay, so this the Federal Reserve, that's a hot story right now. Lisa Cook, Trump is trying to remove her from the Federal Reserve. That's an interesting setup because the Federal Reserve. We have some time. I can nerd out here.
Sure, absolutely.
Okay, all right. You really want? Okay, fine. We'll do
the beast. Let's talk about the beast of Jekyll Island.
Yeah.
Oh, that sounds okay. All right. So the Federal Reserve is not a lot of people understand how it works. Yet they yield a lot of power in our lives. Right? They set the interest rates, and what it is it's a 7-person board. It's a board of governors. Everybody gets 14 years. So it is designed to be slow, slow change. And that's for a reason. It's the economy, and we don't want somebody coming in and just, doing something radical. And so it's designed by law to be really, really slow. The president can fire you for cause. We just don't know what cause is. There's no definition for cause. And the Supreme Court earlier this year, the NLRB had a very similar situation where Trump fired one of them and he sued. And the Supreme Court says, no, you don't have a lot of protection in the NLRB. You're not like one of these Federal Reserve people. They've got a ton of protection. So the Supreme Court has already kind of said that. And so it sets up an interesting dynamic. The Supreme Court's either going to have to swallow their words or they're going to have to tell Donald Trump no, which we'll see where it goes, but that is a real interesting fight.
Yeah, and that's the thing where you really have to get into the weeds there. The president, obviously, President Biden appointed Lisa Cook.
Right.
You would think the person in charge of appointing someone could also fire them. If the president doesn't have that authority, who would?
It's a great question. That's sort of what we do, right? Is we have all these different spots, all these different roles, and look, our government was intentionally designed to make it really hard to change. That's why Supreme Court justices have a lifetime appointment. And look, your House of Representatives, you're there for 2 years, so there are things that are designed to move a little bit faster, but this one I think is so central to the economy. A 14-year appointment's a long time, and you got to have a good reason to get rid of one of these people. So look, and if one of them if there's malfeasance there, if they're abusing their office, then the president has the ability to do that. But the cause is such a subjective word, and the only really wonderful part about this is lawyers going to make a lot of money fighting over what cause means.
Well, if they committed mortgage fraud and you're in charge of the mortgage rate setting, wouldn't you say that's a pretty significant offense? I mean, she hasn't been indicted yet for it, but but the investigation is ongoing. There's clearly some issues there, and that's what he used as his reasoning for doing it. My point is, if he doesn't have the right to do this, and clearly Congress doesn't have the right, are they not operating as almost a fourth branch of government, which would make the entire Federal Reserve unconstitutional in and of itself? If no one can oversee them, if they're not part of the administrative branch?
Well, what we do not just for our government, just basic contract law, we write these things and we don't foresee what's going to go wrong with it later.
Yeah.
And then we look back at it and we're like, oh, and that's kind of, I think, what's happened here. Because I think if we had to write that statute again from 1930, whatever, I think we would have written maybe 2 sentences about the word cause or 3 sentences about the word cause instead of just the word cause.
Yeah.
So that's really where we get into these fights. Is it's such a subjective term that you really give everybody leverage to fight over it. So yeah, it's just one of those things. But again, like I said, the good news here is lawyers going to make a lot of money here.
Very true, Jeremy.
And the bad news is nobody oversees the Fed.
That's what it seems like. Jeremy, great, thoughtful conversation. Thank you.
Have a great morning.
You bet.
Appreciate it.
Great getting you on here.
Great insight.
So what I referred to here, Dan, have you ever read The Creature from Jekyll Island?
No.
It's a thick book. But it was written years ago by G. Edward Griffin, and a lot of people look at it as sort of a conspiratorial book. But the Fed was created in the 1930s on a little island off the coast of Georgia at a very private meeting with the Rockefellers and all the big money in the world gathered on this little island at a private home, and they basically formed what became the Fed. And they control the money supply. And the book talks about the fact that they also control wars, boom bust cycles, inflation, depression, prosperity,
interest rates.
It's eye-opening to read this book and realize how much power we've turned over to private bankers. And Now there's a debate over whether or not the president can remove one governor from the board of the Federal Reserve. How is that a thing? It doesn't exist as a separate piece of our government, but it controls our monetary policy.
I mean, it controls a ton of our entire society.
It's 600 pages long. It's a long book, but I would, it was released back in the early 90s. I would highly recommend The Creature from Jekyll Island if you've got some downtime. Maybe get the audiobook or something, but it's fascinating to learn how this went down and the fact that we're all still suffering from it and very few people understand it.
And nobody, if the president of the United States and the executive branch does not have oversight over them, and clearly
Right.
Congress has no oversight, that has been clearly established, then they are outside of the three branches of government,
Which is what they want.
which is illegal, which is unconstitutional. The Constitution is very specific about the three branches of government, and that's it. They didn't say there'd be a fourth or a monetary division of our government. Someone has to have oversight over this piece, and it's always been the executive
Turned all
branch.
that over back in the 30s.
Unbelievable.
All that was just turned over to the Fed. Who's the Fed? It's a great question. Probably
The
could take
man
up a
behind
whole-
the curtain, or in this case, the seven governors behind the curtain. Right.
Yeah. It's a whole separate hour we could probably spend talking about that for sure. All right. We're going to get back and pick Dan's brain here when we get back in just a few minutes. Plus, we'll have some Doobie Brother tickets to give away next hour. And there is a great memorial trivia auction night coming up in September. And it's in memory of and supporting our first responders, in this case, EMS workers. And I want to tell you more about that as well in the 8 o'clock hour. Stay tuned.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Good morning. We've got some volume out there on the roads. If you are a northbound 55 driver, you will not be surprised to encounter a slowdown at 270, and then again headed for Bayless in the construction zone there. Now, northbound 270 has just moderate volume, but it really does stretch from 55 all the way up through the Dew Road. Southbound 270 slow at the Dew Road. Now, westbound 40 is slowing. And if you're headed to Clayton from downtown, that's a slow go from Kings Highway through Hanley. Eastbound has some slow pockets too, east of Lindbergh through Big Bend. There was an accident reported on southbound 94, and that one is at South Breeze Road, and it's still causing a delay. We've got eastbound 40 out west, some slow pockets headed for Winghaven, and 70 has moderate volume, and that's approaching Wentzville through the O'Fallon area, slowing again at 270 and at Hanley. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic. By the way, we do have volume on the Illinois side as well, but nothing unusual, just slow crossing the Poplar. On 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
This report is sponsored by McKelvey Homes.
Hi, I'm Jim Brennan at McKelvey Homes. Have you always wished for a brand new home in an established neighborhood? Select one of our move-in ready custom homes throughout St. Louis, or we will build on your lot. Visit McKelveyhomes.com and move up to McKelvey.
You know, my very first home, I had water problems in the basement and had to get it professionally dealt with. And I didn't know about Home Shield Foundation repairs back then. I imagine the company had not started yet. That was probably 30 years ago. But today, if you're having those same water problems, I'm going to recommend you talk to my friend Matt Hayes. You want somebody coming over that you can trust, who's not there to beat you up and do work you don't need done. You just need the water to stop. And Matt is a foundation specialist. It's what he does. He will come in and eyeball the situation, and he'll give you a remedy to fix that specific problem and not try to upsell you like some of the top salespeople will for some of these big companies that do foundation repairs around here. Matt's local. He's a family guy. It's a family-run operation, and he's the guy that will come to your house. He's been to my house. I've got friends who've dealt with Matt and have nothing but great things to say about him. And a lot of our listeners here at 97.1 have had him over to take care of concrete problems. He can polyjack a driveway if you're having problems with the driveway sinking because of erosion. He can do that to basement floors. He can fix sump pumps. He can put in drain tiles. He can fix bowing and leaning walls. And you get a lifetime guarantee when he's done. 314-227-9636. That's 227-9636, or online at homeshieldfoundationrepairs.com.
Marc Cox here. Join us live Thursday, September 11th at Chicken Ellie's in Eureka as we support Focus Marines Foundation. They're helping post 9/11 veterans transition to civilian life. Learn more at 971talk.com/events.
Calling all future sportscasters. Sharpen your skills and learn from the best of the Missouri Broadcasters Association Sportscasters Forum Tuesday, September 16th in St. Louis. Join Cardinals beat reporters, broadcasters, and the legendary John Rooney, the voice of the Cardinals, for insider sessions on play-by-play, interviewing, reporting, and more. Then cap the day with a Cards-Reds game at Busch Stadium. Open to college students and broadcasting pros. Just $10 for students, lunch, and a game ticket. Space is limited. Register by September 2nd at Missouri Broadcasters.org.
Unapologetically right. Marc Cox on 97.1 FM Talk. St. Louis conservative. But don't give a
Yeah, this is normally where we give liberals a trigger warning as we promote and highlight conservative voices and artists on social media that normally would get no airtime on mainstream media, such as this radio station or other TV stations. However, not all of my stories and all the social content that I'm going to share on the segment are going to be triggers. Although I guess some of these libtards could probably say that
somebody will get mad.
Yeah, that this is male chauvinist or it's macho man coaching style, whatever. But I heard this woman's story. Immediately, I thought about my own high school football coach, who had just had a tremendous influence on my life. And not as much about what he said, but of how he lived his life and how he talked to us about how we behave both on and off the field. Anyway, this social media post comes from a young lady on X. Her name's Kathleen Winchell. She's just a normal 30-something, middle-class, hardworking mom. Great sense of humor, though. And she shares a funny, everyday life story almost every day on her podcast. And this one I thought was appropriate because we embark on our first Friday Night Lights this week in high school football. I thought it was a great example of how life lessons can be taught by these coaches both on and off the field. Here's Kathleen's recent story. Hit it, Ethan.
So I go get gas in my car today like you do when you need gas, right? And I pull up to the pump. On the other side of the pump for me is an older gentleman. And to the left of me is some high school kids. I'm standing there pumping my gas and I just happened to drop my keys on the floor. So I bent over to pick them up. Next thing I know, I hear moo. I look over and this kid and his girlfriend are standing there laughing at me, making mooing sounds. When out of nowhere, I hear this. Boy, I know I did not just hear that come out of your mouth. And when I tell you, this kid's soul floated out of his body and the blood rushed all the way to his knees, he was ghost white. Turns out it was his football coach pumping gas across from me and heard him saying this to me. Next thing I know, now you're going to get over here right now. You're going to give me 50 push-ups right next to this young lady's car. And when you're done with that, you're going to clean all of her windows. And then you're going to go inside and you're going to pay for her gas. If she's already paid for it, you're going to reimburse her. Am I right? Yeah, you're right. He gets down and he does 50 push-ups right by my pump. And when he's done with that, he hops up. He goes over, he grabs the little squeegee thing, and he starts washing all the windows in my car. And then he walks up to me and he's like, do you need me to pay for your gas? No, she don't need you to pay for her gas. She's a grown adult unlike you, but you're going to do it anyway, aren't you? And this kid pulls out $20 and hands it to me.
Oh.
Now, me being the good person I am, I was like, no, you don't need to do that.
I love this.
The football coach is like, ma'am, if you don't take that money, you're going to be doing push-ups too.
Oh, what a great coach. I am telling you, and they're everywhere. And so many of our high school coaches are making just a huge impact on kids' lives. That kid will never forget that.
It almost makes me think that this is in some like really small town somewhere because I don't know. I don't know if the kids in general are giving their coaches that much respect these days.
I think a lot of them demand that much respect.
Good.
Yeah. And I think this coach could have easily ignored what was going on. Like, I don't want to be embarrassed and let that woman know that he's one of my players. No, he stepped in and made sure that kid learned a life lesson that goes way beyond football. But to think he just drop and give me 50 and give her a 20 and wash your windows. How great is that?
I love it.
That's great. And good luck to all those high school football players. What a great time in life. If you are one of those kids who get to experience that thrill of Friday Night Lights, cherish it, love it, give it everything you got, whoop some butt when you're out there, but also realize what a great time in life you're experiencing while you're in the middle of it.
And you got to wonder if his soul ever went back into his body. I guess maybe it didn't escape completely, and after the push-ups, it re-entered.
Yeah. And what's the girlfriend sitting there thinking? Oh, I was doing it too.
Well, that's true.
Right.
Yeah. I bet he just gave her a look. I bet he just gave her the look.
I can't say anything to you.
I can't. Yeah.
She got the point. Yeah.
You're participating in this. Shame on you. Good. I love lessons like that. Still remember my high school football coach, Coach Rice. Yeah.
Warren Dobry was mine and just literally changed my life. He really did. He was an incredible impact to me.
Well, everybody's got a story about that for sure. That all that toxic masculinity here in the studio this morning, Dan. What do you think about
there
that?
we go. Thinking about football. This weather's making you think about football. It's so cool and nice out there. What a great weekend for high school football to kick off.
Can't wait. All right, coming up next hour, we are going to talk a little bit more about the a great charity event, a trivia night that's coming up, and we're going to get to our Doobie Brother ticket giveaway.
Rhino Shield is far superior to even the best traditional exterior house paint. Rhino Shield is 8 to 10 times thicker than paint and comes with a 25-year transferable warranty. Rhino Shield is the only ceramic coating company that has been chosen by Disney, This Old House, and 3 times on HGTV's Curb Appeal, where every episode is concentrated on unpainted brick, bonds and seals to stucco, wood, hardy, block, color lock, masonite, and more. No better product for those steel aluminum-sided homes that have become, chalky and tired looking. We coat sloped and flat roofs to extend their lives too. After 15 years, we've got a great reputation and a superior product. As long as it's affordable, why wouldn't you do it? Before you make the costly mistake of painting with traditional paint, you'd be best served to call Rhino Shield today. We are the experts and our evaluations are free. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com. Tell them, ladies.
No pain, don't Rhino. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Are you nearing retirement and don't know if you have enough money saved to retire? That is scary. Do you have a written retirement financial plan in place? Well, when it comes to retirement planning, the trusted team at Financial and Tax Architects are the best. They've helped people all over St. Louis retire with confidence. And that's what you want. You want to retire with confidence. Now, they offer a one-night, 2.5-hour adult education class called Retirement Planning 101. They hold these at colleges over the St. Louis area and in Illinois. No cost, no obligation, just learning. And at this class, you learn how to avoid costly mistakes, how to maximize your income, how to reduce taxes in retirement. So call them today, 314-888-5101, or visit fta-ria.com and take the first step toward a smarter retirement. 314-888-5101.
Feel like your paycheck barely keeps up with your life? At the Financial Freedom Seminar, learn how real people are building passive income and retiring early using real estate. It's all happening live in St. Louis with Lifestyles Unlimited, September 27th and 28th. You'll leave with a step-by-step plan to change your future. Text radio to 88007. That's live in St. Louis, September 27th and 28th. Text radio to 88007. That's RADIO to 88007.
Are you looking to hire? ZipRecruiter finds the best candidate for your job fast. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
The Cards, the Pirates.
Siteman Cancer Center game time 6:45. Play ball. Siteman Cancer Center, national leader in cancer.
The home of the Cardinals. 104.1 FM KMOX.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-500-5000.
That's 314-500-5000.
All on the free Odyssey app.
The bold blitz to beat down crime. I'm Angelo Bavaro, Fox News. President Trump holding a cabinet meeting yesterday where he called for the return of the death penalty in the nation's capital. This comes as D.C. sees its first homicide in nearly 2 weeks.
That shooting took place early Tuesday morning after midnight when an adult male was found unconscious but breathing in Anacostia off Minnesota Avenue in Southeast D.C. He later died in the hospital. The White House says there's been over 1,000 arrests this month since President Trump ordered those reinforcements to help D.C.'s police force, which is 800 cops short. Trump says Republican House and Senate leaders are working on a new legislation to fight crime. Posting last night, Speaker Mike Johnson and Leader John Thune are working with me and other Republicans on a comprehensive crime bill. It's what our country needs, and now more to follow. Make America great again.
Fox's Lucas Tomlinson. Washington, D.C. does not have the death penalty, but the Trump administration has been pushing police to charge suspects with federal crimes, some of which do carry the death penalty. City officials continue to argue that crime had already been falling. President Trump is facing a legal challenge to his attempt to fire a Federal Reserve Board member.
The president says his removal of Lisa Cook as a Federal Reserve Board governor is not related to her opposition to lower interest rates.
We need people that are 100% above board, and it doesn't seem like she was.
President Trump cites an allegation of mortgage fraud by Cook for her dismissal, an accusation Cook denies. Her attorney says she will sue to prevent an unlawful firing. President Trump told reporters he is considering a replacement for Cook. Her term on the Fed does not expire until 2038. At the White House, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
Cook was appointed by President Joe Biden in 2022. America's listening to Fox News.
This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. Serving in the military requires great sacrifices, not just for one's country, but also for one's family. Not surprisingly, divorce for soldiers is especially difficult, and it raises a number of challenges that are peculiar to military divorce, things such as deployments, relocation, retirement benefits. So if you're a soldier facing such challenges, go to CordellCordell.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. 600 Kelwood, St. Louis. CordellCordell.com.
Millions of Americans take medicine like Ozempic and Zepbound. Many of them are overpaying by thousands of dollars a year. These GLP-1 medications for diabetes, weight loss, and more may not always be covered by your insurance, but GoodRx can help. GoodRx helps you save every month on prescriptions at over 70,000 pharmacies nationwide. Best of all, it's free to use. Check GoodRx to save on GLP-1s. Just go to GoodRx.com/GLP. That's GoodRx.com/GLP. GoodRx is not insurance, but can be used instead of insurance, including Medicare and other federal and state-funded programs.
It's 8:03, a nice cool start to your Wednesday. I'm Dan Buck. It is right now 59 degrees. The Boeing machinist strike has no end in sight. The two sides have met for a few hours on Monday. However, both sides reported yesterday that no progress was made and no follow-up negotiations are scheduled, as that strike will be a month long come September 4th. Beginning tomorrow, Missourians could see their utility bills jump even higher when a host of new state laws will go into effect. Among those 60 new statutes is a significant change in the state utility law. The consumer advocate groups are warning that electric rates in St. Louis could increase $600 annually, as well as a 10 to 15% hike on gas, water, and even sewer bills. Other laws going into effect do include several sales tax cuts and expanded rights for landlords who are no longer going to be forced to accept public housing vouchers in Missouri. The deadline for applying for tornado federal aid assistance in St. Louis ended at midnight last night. FEMA rejected the St. Louis mayor's request for a 30-day extension to that deadline. Already, FEMA has accepted over 8,300 applicants and approved more than $40 million in aid. Now, the Small Business Administration is extending their business support loan program through another 60 days. In sports, the Cardinals' Andre Pallante got rocked for 8 runs in the first 3 innings. The Pirates beat up on the Redbirds 8-3 on Tuesday night. Game 3 of that 4-game series will be tonight at Busch. Game time, 6:45. It's 8:05 and 79 degrees. I'm Dan Buck for 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative. And no, it's 59 degrees, not 79 degrees. It's 59 right now.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Oh, been there. All right. Now, on the roads, we've got a couple of real seriously slow areas. And one of those was due to an earlier accident eastbound 40 near Big Bend. So some slow-moving traffic in that area. And eastbound 70 is pretty slow around Hanley. They've had the right lane down there for a while. Now, 141 northbound especially jams at 44. And eastbound 44, we've got a report of an accident. And it appears to be just east of Bowles. And that's created some slow-moving traffic out there. Also, southbound Olive slow, headed for 64 this morning. And 70 and 6440 have some moderate volume out west as you head into downtown. And let's see, the Illinois side have some volume as well. Westbound 64 headed for the 55 split, and some slow-moving traffic from there across the Poplar Street Bridge. This report brought to you by the Diamond Shop. The Diamond Shop, making St. Louis sparkle for over 100 years. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
Our spectacular late August weather continues. Wonderful out the door this morning. Partly sunny skies. This afternoon, let's look for a high of 79, 80 degrees. Tonight, a few clouds around. 60 Thursday, partly sunny. Maybe a spot shower, but tough to find. Mainly holding way south-southwest. 81 for the high. Friday, sunny. And an enjoyable 82. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
It's 57 degrees at 8:07. You can take the Marc Cox Morning Show with you anywhere, anytime by downloading the Odyssey app.
The Marc Cox Morning Show is brought to you by Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group, retirementkey.com.
This is the Marc Cox Morning Show.
Good morning. Welcome into the Marc Cox Morning Show on this Wednesday morning, the 27th day of August. It's getting away from us, but you probably think it's like the 27th day of October because it was in the high 40s this morning out in Wentzville. Of course, if you live out there, you're going to know that already, but I had put a jacket on before I walked out the door this morning. It was shocking.
The record is 51 in St. Louis. I think we only got down to about 53 at the airport where that record is kept. But, man, 2 degrees away from a record low for the middle of August.
You all choked up there, Dan.
No,
right?
I'm getting a cold.
You said it was 79 earlier. You really threw me off with that one.
Stop. I know. It's like, no, it's 59. Actually, now it just crept up to 60.
Dave Murray
60.
Dave Murray is referring to it as false fall.
Man,
because you can bet there's a second summer coming here at some point. Probably September will be the hottest month on record or something.
I'm looking at the long-term forecast. Looks pretty darn good. Like 81 being the highest temperature for the next 10 days. That's crazy.
Wow. Well, good. Hey, we still got lots to go for you this hour. Maybe you've been wondering, you've been hearing some of the stories. Even CNN's been reporting on voter registration and a bit of a crisis for the left when it comes to that in some key swing states. So we've got Danielle Alvarez coming up. She is a RNC senior advisor and has been talking a little bit about that challenge and maybe midterms and what Republicans are going to need to do to turn around polling on this big, beautiful bill and some of these other issues. So we're going to get to that for you in the next segment. We got some Doobie Brother tickets to give away. And I mentioned earlier, we're going to tell you more about this trivia auction night that's coming up Saturday, September 13th. It's a great event. It raises money to help fund people who want to become paramedics and go into EMS and all that stuff. And they need some more tables sold. And we're going to help them out if we can just a little bit later this hour. So we'll get to all that for you here shortly. First, though, we need to get to our top stories. Ethan, please.
The Marc Cox short list.
Whoops, that's my fault there. There we go.
Elected at state levels and in caucuses and so forth. And so by their very nature, they represent the activist heart of the Democratic Party. And look, they're nutty.
Karl Rove talking about the folks up at the DNC right now, the ones that kicked off the DNC meeting in Minneapolis by apologizing for the fact that they were on lands that didn't belong to them, but instead belonged to the Native Americans.
Domestic steel production is up by 100,000 tons of steel a week. We have a 50% tariff on steel, aluminum, and various other things. Copper just got brought into the picture, and that means people are going to want to make steel here.
Yeah, another big decision made yesterday. They're bumping up to like 50% tariffs on India because India continues to buy cheap oil from Russia, and Russia's using the money to fund its war in Iraq, in Ukraine. So I don't know what the fallout from that is today, but my guess is we're going to very quickly get an India trade deal.
This is the danger when you have a president of the United States directing Texas or Indiana or any other state to redistrict for the sake of getting more seats in Congress to hold a majority of the power.
Yep, they've got to, right? That was former Senator John Tester saying this is what's got to happen, what may happen in the midterms, and we'll talk about that here in just a few minutes.
My first reaction was that this is a good thing. I think that the governor as well as the mayor should be on board with it just so we can get a bit more of security in Chicago the way that we need.
Yeah, how about that? A Chicago resident saying, hey, Governor Pritzker, when you're done walking into your mansion with a, armed security there and you don't have to worry about the crime, how about worrying about the rest of us? We like what we're seeing in Washington, D.C., and the CNN reporter was shocked by this man on the street interview where this lady just flat out told her, this is working.
What do we need?
The crime has dropped since 2024. Do you feel like the city feels safer?
No, not at all. No, especially with the police being defunded.
Wow, bam. So CNN's going to stop doing man on the street interviews because that's a perspective they don't want out there. They don't want to hear from the people.
No, of course they don't. I got into it with somebody on Facebook. Yes, I try to be good. I really do. I try to be good. And there's some guy on there that, and I'll be honest with you, I have friends that you've gotten on Facebook over the years, and frankly, you don't remember how you knew them or how you friended them. And that was my deal with this guy. I don't remember how I knew him, but he's on there complaining about how it feels like a police state, and we're headed down this path, and how do we stop somebody from becoming a tyrant, and all related to Donald Trump fixing the crime problem, albeit temporarily, in Washington, D.C. And I finally said, you folks have got to get a grip. You've got to. TDS is ruining you. Well, that set him off. He's all upset with me because this is, he doesn't like being painted as, he texted me yesterday, doesn't like being painted as Trump derangement syndrome because he has genuine concerns about the constitutionality of Donald Trump's actions. Donald Trump has not done anything extra constitutional to date. He's talked about the fact that they need help in Chicago. That's a fact. And the Democrats are suddenly worried that legions of U.S. Army paratroopers are going to be marching down the Miracle Mile in Chicago. That's not in touch with reality. To this lady's point, there were 600 people, 600 lives ended in Chicago last year. The vast majority of them were black on black crime, and they want to be satisfied with the fact that, well, 600 is less than the 650 we had the year before. What's the problem? And in Washington, D.C., meanwhile, they've gone coming up on 2 weeks without a murder, which means there are families who didn't lose loved ones this week. And my guess is they're pretty happy about that. I just don't know how you get it into the heads of these Democrats that your argument that, well, some crime's okay is going to resonate with your citizens.
And they say, oh, but crime is down in Chicago. It's down from the biggest, most violent year in the history. In 2023 was the most violent year in the history of Chicago. More murders, more rapes, more crimes against people. And so, yeah, it came down for a year or two. It's still horrendous.
I said to him in the post, I'm like, so what's your number?
Yeah.
Is your number?
What are you
50?
comfortable with?
Is your number 70? Is your number 88, which is the number of people killed in St. Louis so far this year? Well, what number are you comfortable with? Just out of interest. Because I said this earlier to Genevieve Wood. I saw somebody on CNN yesterday, a former Democrat member of, I don't know if it was Obama's administration or what, look into the camera and say, Well, as soon as the National Guard leaves, those crime rates are going to go right back up. Think about the words that just came out of your mouth. You've just acknowledged that having more feet on the ground,
more good guys with guns,
fix the problem. And all you can be satisfied with is that the crime will come back as soon as they leave. Well, why aren't your local elected officials working to repeat that? Rinse, lather, repeat. Why would you not want to do that, more of that instead of less of it? I don't get it.
And during this period, during the 30 days, they literally are able to execute the warrants and find the people, because police can do real police work since the streets are being patrolled by the National Guard.
Yeah.
It's given them time to get some of the worst offenders off the streets, people who are in violation of their paroles, people who were wanted on criminal charges, people who are wanted for investigations. They have been able to get and apprehend over 1,000 people in 14 days. That is the most arrest in Washington, D.C. So when you get that many bad guys off the street, guess what? They're not going to be offending when the 30 days is up. You have eliminated a major criminal element from the streets of D.C. Why every city wouldn't follow this model?
Always been my argument about the death penalty.
Yeah. It's
the best, right? The best deterrent from that guy repeating that crime is 6 feet of dirt.
Yeah,
that's all, or a jail cell,
or just give me bars between me and him.
Yeah, he's not going to do that again. He may kill somebody in prison, but he's not going to kill innocent people outside of prison for sure.
Yeah.
All right, coming up, we're going to talk to Danielle Alvarez, of course, senior advisor with the RNC right now, about how those midterms are really shaping up. Other than what you're just hearing in the mainstream media. We'll be back in just a minute.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Let's see. We've got a lot of volume out there right now on eastbound 6440. There was an earlier accident near Big Bend, and westbound is backed up past Hampton, but eastbound is backed up past Lindbergh. And we also have volume eastbound 70. It's moderate out west, and it's really slow at Hanley, where we had the right lane down. A slow pocket or two along eastbound 364 headed for 270, and 64 on either side of Clarkson this morning. Northbound 270, pockets of moderate volume 21 through 64. Southbound is slowing at Ladue Road, and 55 still a slow go, especially around Bayless in the construction zone. And there is some volume westbound on the Poplar Street Bridge from about the 64-70 split. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative. Do you know how to handle your money in retirement? Because this is not a situation where you say, we'll wing it, right? We've been saving, and I'm sure this will make it all the way through our retirement. What? No. You have got to have a written financial retirement plan in place. For one thing, it's the logical thing to do. But for another thing, man, you want to know for sure that this is going to happen for you. You cannot just live with the uncertainty of, well, I think it's enough. Oh, that's just not how it should be done. Why I like financial and tax architects is that they will walk you through the process. They've done this for years. They've helped people all over St. Louis retire with confidence, and they explain how things work. So you can sit down with them and have them show you things. All right, here's how to get the most tax benefits in retirement. Here's how to do Social Security, and it's tailored for you and your values and your goals. So call 314-888-5101, 314-888-5101, and get started.
Hey guys, Glover here for my friends at Triton Exteriors. Not sure if you've noticed, but the storms seem to be especially bad this spring. If you had James Hardy Smart Siding, you wouldn't have to worry about it. It's not going to be damaged like in the 314-day storm. So we do roofing, siding, gutters, fences. We're always going to be the middle bid. We're never going to cut corners. We're never going to take advantage of you. Call 314-717-1159 or triton-stl.com.
I'm Ultima Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Every time one of my children started driving, it was terrifying. Thousands of accidents happen across the country. We see it every day. If you've been injured in a car accident, call us.
Dial #law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Now through September 1st, it's a Labor Day sale at Zero Res. Get 3 rooms for $119 plus a free hallway and $75 off off your air ducts. Call 314-474-2020 or go to ZeroResSTL.com.
Truth, backbone. Marc Cox on 97.1 FM Talk. St. Louis conservative.
So earlier this week, we ran that bite from, was it Enton? Is that the reporter over at CNN? I think that's his name. And he was basically pointing out what some of these numbers look like in these red and blue states for the midterms, right? And how it's really kind of registration numbers are at historic highs. Harry Enton, listen to him here.
What are you doing? Oh, my goodness gracious. What are we talking about here in terms of big party registration changes in the key swing states? Let's look at the key 4 swing states that, in fact, do keep track of registration by party. Look, the Republican Party is in their best position at this point in the cycle since at least 2005. In all 4 of these key battleground states, we go out to the Southwest. Arizona. How about Nevada? Republicans haven't done this well since 2005.
Wow. So that's Harry Enton on that one just a little bit earlier this week. So although it's killing them, the mainstream media is at least some of them are reporting on some of these numbers. Let's get to our guest, Danielle Alvarez, RNC senior advisor. Danielle, welcome to the show. What's the matter?
We're still trying to get on. Oh,
I thought I saw it looked green to me, and I thought maybe we had her on there. So we're trying to get to Danielle on the phone here. Who's a RNC senior advisor. Let's listen to the rest of what Harry had to say here about these numbers.
Arizona. How about Nevada? Republicans haven't done this well since 2005. Oh, my goodness gracious, at this point in the cycle. North Carolina, I couldn't find a point at which Republicans were doing better at this point in the cycle. It's at least this century. It probably goes way back in the last century. And Pennsylvania, very similar. Republicans doing better at this point than at any point this century, at least as far as I could find.
Yeah, I think it's interesting, Dan, because this morning there was a report on during the Gordon Deal show that precedes our show. And the guy was saying, listen, I know that technically the Republicans can outdo the Democrats when it comes to redistricting. They can probably outdo them by a seat or two. They have more districts they could change available to them. But historically, in midterms, Republicans, the party that's in the control of the White House loses in midterms. And that's kind of what they're hanging their hat on. The registrations don't seem to show that. And I think we do have Danielle Alvarez with us right now, RNC senior advisor. Danielle, welcome in.
It is so great to be on with you. Good morning.
Yeah, thank you for giving me a few minutes. We were just talking about these Republican registrations being up in a lot of these key states. I played a report by Harry Enton. I think he's over at CNN from earlier this week. What are you seeing there?
Isn't that so fun that the New York Times was forced to report these voter registration trends, and then CNN had to run it on their airwaves? It's incredible to see. I've been shouting it from the rooftops. It is President Donald Trump's good governance that is going to help us maintain and possibly expand majorities these midterm elections. We are seeing Democrats losing voters. I believe the number is 2.1 million voter registration loss for Democrats, a 2.4 million gain across the country for Republicans. That is a delta of 4.5 million in favor of Republicans. And again, a result of that mandate in November, where we won in a landslide. President Trump won the popular vote, 13 battleground states, made gains with every demographic in every county across the country. And he is governing well. America is back.
And I know you guys are also very interested in tracking the congressional races. I know some of the names haven't even been put out there. You still have primaries to get through. But in your eyes, do you feel like these registrations are going to correlate to winning seats, holding seats, and keeping that majority? I know you guys are looking farther down the road than just the registrations currently.
Well, that's exactly right. There's a lot that goes at play when you are looking at the midterm elections. The first, of course, is what does the math look like for voter registration? And we are seeing those trends in our favor. The second is how much money and what war chest does each party have in order to make sure to run the right programs, to educate voters about candidates, and to get out the vote. When you look specifically apples to apples comparison between the Republican National Committee and the Democrat National Committee, Democrats have about $15 million cash on hand. And the really embarrassing thing that I can't seem to figure out is their burn rate. They are lighting money on fire on what? I am not exactly sure. I mean, the latest was that they had hired an operative to help them with their, to reach out to white male voters. I mean, it's kind of embarrassing given how deeply they are losing with that segment of the population. In contrast, Republicans have about $85 million cash on hand. In total, the president has boasted over $1 billion raised in his entities. That is the war chest that we need heading into these midterms. There's a stat that I heard the president say personally, and it is that in the last 100 years, the party in power has only expanded their majorities in Congress 3 times. It is an uphill battle, but we are seeing everything trending in the right direction. And again, as I say, it's that good governance. The American people and public opinion polls are telling us that this country is headed in the right direction and that the president is delivering on campaign promises.
Danielle Alvarez with us from the RNC. And, you know, you can't point to a bigger success story to me than the state of Florida, right? I mean, from the governor on down, they've done an amazing job down there, turning that into just a solid red state over the years. And the new RNC chair, correct, is from Florida?
That is exactly right. I am so proud to be from the Sunshine State, my home state of Florida. Used to be the laughing stock of election integrity. We all remember the 2000 elections hanging chads. Yeah. And now we know that we run elections flawlessly in Florida. We've seen the voter registration trends during the Obama administration. We had a deficit. Republicans had a deficit of about 400,000 Democrat advantage in Florida. Now Republicans have a 1.3 million Republican advantage in the state. We have won races up and down the ballot. I always say, all good things come from Florida. President Trump is Florida's favorite resident. You have Susie Wiles, James Blair, Tony Fabrizio. The list goes on and on of Florida residents. Of course, Secretary of State Marco Rubio, and now Chairman Joe Gruters. Chairman Joe Gruters is going to bring that same fight, that same tenacity from the Sunshine State with the total endorsement of President Trump as he heads the RNC.
Danielle, help us out, and we'll get him on the air here shortly whenever he's ready to do that. Let us know, all right?
He would be fantastic. We will make that happen.
All right. Danielle Alvarez, thank you so much for your time this morning.
Thank you for having me. Final plug, every listener, please head to GOP.com.
There you go. We'll be back in just a minute. We'll give away some Doobie Brothers tickets.
Chances are, if you've been in your home for quite some time and you've never replaced the siding, then it might start to fade, just the sun beating down on it. Maybe you've even noticed some cracks with all the crazy weather that we have here in Missouri. It's time to give it a fresh, permanent upgrade, and that would be with James Hardie fiber cement siding from Lakeside Renovation and Design. This fiber cement siding, James Hardie siding, it's designed to stand up to all the crazy weather here. And you don't think about this, but it really can improve the look of your home, can improve your curb appeal. Lakeside is a James Hardie elite preferred contractor, and their entire team over there is in-house. They're not outsourcing to third parties, and they help you pick the perfect look for your home. They're going to help you customize it, the color, the trim, everything. They manage every part of the project so that you're not having to stress out about it. If your home is just showing signs of wear and tear, which again, that happens, it's time to take the next step. Visit lakesiderd.com and bring new life to your home with siding that is built to last. Again, they're online at lakesiderd.com.
If you're considering an annuity as part of your retirement plan, we need to talk. Hi, I'm Bob Stockdale, Senior Vice President Investments with the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel and host of On the Money Saturday mornings at 11 on 97.1 FM Talk. Annuities can be a useful tool for some retirement investors, but not all annuities are created equal. Every week, we meet clients who own complex annuities that don't suit their needs and, in some cases, actively undermine their retirement plan. Before you purchase an annuity, get a second opinion from the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel. Requesting a consultation is free of charge. To request a free consultation, contact us at clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com, or call us at 636-695-2650. That's clearpathinvesting.com or 636-695-2650. Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member NYSE and SIPC.
I'm Nicole Murray with your Money Now. Okta's quarterly results and full-year forecast exceeded consensus. One of Okta's partners, Palo Alto Networks, recently announced an agreement to buy Okta competitor CyberArk. Okta CEO Todd McKinnon said customers need a choice. President Trump said he will soon have a majority of his nominees on the Federal Reserve Board who will back his desire to slash interest rates. Trump's comment at a cabinet meeting came after he moved to fire central bank governor Lisa Cook. Trump has already appointed 2 board members. Singer Taylor Swift announced her engagement to Kansas City Chiefs tight end Travis Kelce via social media. The post included pictures featuring an engagement ring that has been described as a cushion cut. As a result, shares of Signet Jewelers, one of the few jewelers that trades on major exchanges, spiked 3% immediately following the announcement. Futures are slightly lower. Tuesday, the Dow Industrials gained 135, the NASDAQ up 94. That's your Money Now.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Well, we still have some volume out there. If you are headed in from Illinois, there is some moderate volume on the Poplar Street Bridge. Nothing too terrible, just a little bit of a slow go. Looking better along northbound 55, but around Bayless, there's still some volume. And eastbound 6440, still a little bit of volume, especially east of Lindbergh through Big Bend. Westbound is still a slow go, especially as you head toward Handley. And other than that, we really are in pretty good shape. Northbound 270 is better, but you may encounter a slow go, especially headed up toward Doherty Ferry. This report brought to you by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
From now on, if you spring a leak, need a water heater, or have hard water,
Thanks for calling Jerry Kelly Heating, Air, Plumbing, and Electrical.
Jerry Kelly will fix the leak, install the thing, and make that hard water easy. From the company who's got your whole home covered.
JerryKelly.com.
My friends at Rhino Shield, boy, they must be loving this weather. Anybody that's involved in being outside and, having to maybe put a roof on or put some great Rhino Shield on the side of a house or a business have got to be loving this cool weather in late August. How about that? So if you are looking to cover up the unpainted brick, maybe the hardy cement board you've got on the side of your house, whatever it is, Rhino Shield is the best alternative you can find to regular paint. Why? Well, because it lasts. It is beautifully durable. It holds its color. It forms sort of a ceramic shield on the outside of your house. Waterproof, 100% waterproof. So when the rain and the snow and the hail and all that beat down, you're protected. It holds up well against hail, as we saw recently when those people had their vinyl siding with big holes punched in it. Not Rhino Shield, bounced off. So this is what you want to look at. Don't look at regular paint. It's 8 to 10 times thicker. They put on 2 to 3 coats. They're there at your house for the better part of a week, and then you're taken care of. So call Darren. Tell him you heard Marc Cox bragging about it. I'm a satisfied customer. Tell him you would love your free evaluation this week. 877-25-RHINO or online at 877-25rhino.com.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon for Underdog Fantasy, and football is back, and Underdog is the best place to select entries and win money all season long. And of course, now you can play in Missouri, and playing on Underdog is easy. Once you download the app, you come up with a username. I'm going to guide you into some bonus credits here in a moment. But when you play on Underdog, you choose whether your favorite players will go higher or lower on stats. So for football, super easy. Touchdowns, receiving yards, interceptions, and more. You get your entries right, you can win up to 5,000 times your cash, and you can play with as little as $1. Download the app and sign up with the promo code MARKR to score $50 in bonus funds when you play your first $5. Again, that's the promo code MARKR. Underdog, make plays, win money. Millions of fans have already won billions making plays on Underdog. Will you be next? Must be 18 plus and present in Missouri. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms _DFS_.html for details. Concerned with your play, call 800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org.
From Alton to Wildwood, 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative. Talk lines are open now at 314-241-9797 or 866-455-9797.
One of my favorites. How about that? Who wants to go see the Doobie Brothers coming up September 4th at Hollywood Casino Amphitheater? Dan, what number are we going to pick for him this morning?
Let's go to the fast dialer. Let's go with number 4.
Wow.
Number 4.
314-241-9797 gets a pair of tickets to see the Doobie Brothers. Again, Hollywood Casino Amphitheater, September 4th. And we'll give away another pair every day this week. What we got left? Thursday and Friday. So best of luck to you.
All the time I drive to Kansas City, I pass that sign for Blackwater, Missouri.
Oh, yeah.
And I always think about this song. Huh?
That's right. That's good.
Oh,
hit it. How about this song?
Why do brands insist on committing suicide? Cracker Barrel, you could left me on the logo and just let it ride. Hey, Wall Street, God, politics, and sex ain't your business. So do me a favor and stay the heck out of mine. Go broke.
Nice. Where'd you find this, Dan?
Again, internet sensations. It's everywhere. The news came out yesterday that Cracker Barrel is keeping the barrel and the man on their logo. The new logo
Uncle Herschel
is old news.
Yeah,
it's gone.
They're dumping it.
They're dumping it.
And here's the thing. The announcement didn't come from the CEO who went to ABC and claimed that everybody loves the changes. Everybody loves the new logo, particularly, our managers, our in-house people love it. Well, you should have checked with the out-of-house people, or the outhouse people, maybe is what you should call them, because they're not happy about it.
That's right. In fact, they do not attribute any of their press release to any individual. So that CEO, I'm guessing, is gone.
I'm guessing.
Right. They didn't even give her the chance to backpedal on this. But it reads, "We thank our guests for sharing their voices and love of Cracker Barrel. We said we would listen to you, and we have. Our new logo is going away, and our old timer will remain." I love it. It's fantastic.
Uncle Herschel.
That's right.
So there's lots of stories about this guy. Apparently, the one of the original founders had an uncle named Herschel. But then I also read somebody else said somewhere that it was some stock photo of an old man sitting by a barrel that they found somewhere and used. So I don't know if it's supposed to represent Uncle Herschel, if it's actually supposed to look like Uncle Herschel. All that matters really is cut number 10 here, Ethan. I think that's all that really matters.
The Democrat Party, because basically everything the Democrat Party says is just against Trump. So he gets to determine the entire agenda of the Democrat Party. And now he runs Cracker Barrel, all from the Oval Office.
Because he said yesterday, good luck to you guys. You go woke, you go broke.
Yeah, Charlie Kirk. He said you need to go back. You need to go back to the way it was. Basically, that was Trump's message yesterday on Cracker Barrel.
Yeah, and that
was
like
dumb.
4 hours later, they came out with it. They were going to keep the old logo.
And 4 hours later, they reversed course. Now, my guess is, I wonder what they do about the remodel. Did they address that in the press release? They didn't, did they?
It does. Well, it just says that the new interiors. No, that was a critique of it. It says at Cracker Barrel, it's always been and always will be are serving up delicious food, warm welcomes, and the kind of country hospitality that feels like family. As a proud American institution, our 70,000 hardworking employees look forward to welcoming you to our tables soon.
So here's my question: if you weren't going to go to Cracker Barrel because of their changes, will you go back now that they're not changing the logo, but they're probably still going to update the old country store kind of thing? It sounds like maybe some of that's still going to happen.
Cracker Barrel would make my top 30 restaurants. I would have no intention of going there, but I'm going. I might go today.
Wow.
And go. I'm serious. I think it's great. And you need to support, your local restaurants and local people. And I'm like, hey, if I'm going to have to go out and eat somewhere, I might as well do it at a place that made the right decision. They didn't stay the course like some of these other people did to keep protecting it, whether it was Nike or, and the whole kneeling thing. I mean, people stuck behind that for months and months. This was
Bud Light?
Yeah, Bud Light. They just kept going. They kept shooting themselves in the foot by not just saying, I'm sorry. Well, this is an apology in my book. This is them saying, we screwed up. We get it. We're going back and being who we are.
They did. I think they learned the lesson, I believe, from Bud Light. And I said this at the time. My wife worked in public relations for a few years, and she worked for a firm that charged a pretty penny hourly rate for crisis communications. And I said to the folks down the street here at Anheuser-Busch at the time, InBev, listen, I'm going to save you a lot of money. Because here's what you need to do. You need to have your CEO come out and say, we made a mistake. We insulted the people that drink our beer. There was no reason for that to happen. We admit that it was a mistake. We're sorry. And that individual no longer works for this company. And we're going to go back and find the marketing team from the 1980s, and we're going to hire them again because that's when they made Bud Light great. But that's what you need to do. And the very next day or 2 days later, the CEO came out and doubled down.
Yeah.
And the stock, the sales of Bud Light just tanked, and they still haven't recovered.
No, I mean, they went from being the number one brand beer. I think they're now like number 6.
Yes. Yeah. It dropped off tremendously. And I did see the can the other day that had Sydney Sweeney on it, the Bud Light can. Somebody doctored it up, and they're like, only Sydney Sweeney can save Bud Light. Like, why'd you put this can out?
It probably would. People would probably respond to that. Yeah, and the rest of the AB products, people didn't boycott necessarily Anheuser-Busch. Bud is still a great seller. Michelob Light. I mean, they still have, many of the largest selling brands in the country. Bud Light's still very high. Don't get me wrong. They're still a dominant beer, but they opened up the door to beers like Modelo and Corona and things to take up over those top spots.
I have to share with you a message somebody sent to me yesterday on Messenger. So we moved last year, and we decided that we're going to get rid of these 2 rocking chairs. They happen to be Cracker Barrel rocking chairs that we bought a few years back.
Wow.
And they just don't fit on the porch at our new house. So my wife made that decision, and suddenly the rocking chairs are in my garage, and she's like, we need to get rid of those. And I'm like, okay. So I put them on Marketplace yesterday. Well, somebody named John recognized me from the post. Apparently he knew what I did for a living, and he said he would be happy to take these off my hands. He said, I've been wanting one for months, but I did not want to put one dime back into their liberal pockets. So I sold my chairs to John, who's going to come and pick them up today. They are Cracker Barrel chairs. And now maybe more people will go back there and pick up their own wooden chair. They sell those chairs that sit out front.
Yeah, and they do have still some DEI policies. They still do, I think, celebrate the 30 days of the, Pride Month or whatever that is. Different thing. Well, give me a restaurant that doesn't, for goodness sakes. I mean, sadly, you'd starve if you didn't go. There's obviously some that stay out of politics and just serve you good food with good service, but there's few and far between, especially when you get into franchises. So many of them got sucked into that DEI hole, especially during the Biden administration. But many are waking up, and I wouldn't be surprised if this didn't, require a complete overhaul of what they're doing. They don't need DEI. They need good food, good service, and stay to the standards that made them a great company.
And as somebody said, maybe go back and refocus on that food for a while, because not everything is as fresh as it used to be at Cracker Barrel. They could freshen up, not necessarily change the menu, but they could change the approach to the menu. Tell us you're hiring a new chef who's going to be planning
more
the
seasonal
menus to make sure that
dishes.
you're getting farm to table stuff from your local community. In many cases, they could do that. I don't know what that would cost them to do that.
That would be a real marketing campaign
Yes.
there, right? To actually promote farm to table and local produce, and that you serve fresh and you buy from local farmers and all of that, which I'm sure they probably do. They just don't market it and promote it.
Right.
But you're right. Their food quality is probably not where it was even 10 years ago.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think it's all a matter of cutting costs. I told you I have a friend who works at one of the stores, and he's in management, but there are times when he's a line cook because they can't keep enough employees, or if somebody calls in sick and they don't have enough people, and he's back there making the gravy and the other stuff in the morning when they open. Just the nature of the restaurant business, maybe. But Bud Light didn't learn the key lesson here. It seems that Cracker Barrel has pivoted much more quickly, and hopefully they'll benefit from that. All right, coming up, we do all we can for first responders around here. We try to help them out. We have our big ATF fundraiser every November. That's coming up again before long. You can nominate a local first responder, and of course, which we call it Feed Our First Responders, and we will pick a winner each month and deliver food to them, and then everybody on their shift gets to enjoy it as well. Just go to 971talk.com/contest. You'll find the form there. Fill it out. Send us their name. Tell us why you want them nominated, and we will pick a winner. And coming up, we're going to tell you how you can help out with a local trivia night that's coming up that also benefits our first responders. We'll be back in just a minute.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Well, the right lane is down eastbound 70 past Hanley, and that's caused a delay in that area. Southbound 170, still some slow pockets from Olive through 64. Eastbound 70 out west, it looks pretty good now. 64 as well, but it is slow on either side of Clarkson and then in pockets between Lindbergh and Big Bend. Westbound is mainly slow at Clayton Skinker. Northbound 270, slow-moving traffic 21 up through Manchester, even up through 64, but it's mainly just moderate volume. And some volume westbound on the Poplar Street Bridge. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Enjoy your land the way you've always dreamed of. Learn more at MissouriBrushControl.com. Missouri Brush Control is helping landowners reclaim their property, manage vegetation, and clear land for better views. Enjoy your land the way you've always dreamed of. Missouri Brush Control, making acreage great again. Visit MissouriBrushControl.com.
Bold, unapologetic, unfiltered. The Marc Cox Morning Show is covering the issues that matter to you. From borders to school boards, Marc Cox is St. Louis Conservative.
Many people dream of learning how to play the piano. Hi, this is Kathy from Lacefield Music, but few ever do. And here are a few of the reasons why. I can't read music, it will take too long, it's too expensive, it's too hard, or I've tried before and I failed. This would be true with most piano lessons, but not with Lacefield Music's innovative adult piano classes. With Lacefield Music's classes, you will learn how to read music and play with both your right and left hand the very first week. And you'll be able to play all your favorite songs in only 8 weeks. Maybe not fast, but you'll be able to play them. Lacefield Music's adult piano course is usually $100, but only twice a year we open this course up to the public for the low price of only $29.99. That's only $29.99 for all 8 weeks. What have you got to lose? Classes are forming now in our Chesterfield location. Call 636-778-2070 or go to lacefieldmusic.com to sign up online. That's lacefieldmusic.com.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon with news for listeners who, like me, want to learn more about Bitcoin. Bitcoin Ben's Crypto Club is coming to St. Louis later this summer. The Bitcoin Ben Crypto Clubs teach members what Bitcoin is, how to buy it, how to safely store it, and how to avoid scams. And we'll connect with others like us who want to learn more about crypto. St. Louis will be the 7th club nationwide and Ben's hometown. If you want to know more about Bitcoin, you need to know Bitcoin Ben. Learn more at bitcoinben.io. That's bitcoinben.io.
Are you looking to hire? ZipRecruiter finds the best candidate for your job fast. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ziprecruiter.com/free. That's ziprecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Cutting through the spin. This is the Marc Cox Morning Show. 97.1 FM Talk. St. Louis Conservative.
All right, who won the Doobie Brothers tickets?
It was James from Wentzville.
All
He's
right.
going to go see Doobie Brothers,
Congrats.
courtesy of the Marc Cox Morning Show.
You bet. Congratulations. We'll give away some more tickets on that tomorrow. All right. You know what? We do what we can around here to help our first responders and charities that help our first responders. We try to do that every chance we get. And when Diane Hansen reached out to me, I'm like, I will absolutely help you out if I can. And Diane, welcome into the show this morning. How are you?
Thanks, Mark. I'm great. I appreciate you being on.
Thanks for what you've done the last 14 years in honor of your husband, Mike Hansen. And I think he was, a paramedic, an EMS worker who passed away suddenly in 2010?
Correct. You got it.
So
yeah, he had a sudden heart attack. Yeah.
Oh, that's so sad. And since then, I mean, you've turned tragedy into something really great for people who are seeking out a career in EMS. Tell us about this, please.
Yeah. So my husband actually started the EMT program at St. Charles County Ambulance District. He was really passionate about it, volunteered a lot of hours to create the program. Now it's a huge, awesome program that educates EMTs and paramedics some of them go on to be EMTs, some of them go into nurses, doctors, etc. But he was super smart. He graduated valedictorian of his class. So in his memory, I wanted to create something for that. And so the EMTs and paramedics that graduate top of their class, we try and provide scholarships. We also like to do some provide educational resources for things that maybe the tax dollar doesn't cover for them.
Sure. So over the past 14 years now, this will be the 14th annual Mike Hansen Memorial Trivia and Auction that you got coming up on the 13th of September. And we need to get a few more tables sold, don't we?
Yes, please. Ever since COVID, it's harder and harder to get people to volunteer and or to attend events. So we would appreciate getting some more tables out here and the support. We have tons and tons of donors who have donated beer and soda and all kinds of goodies. We have, fast food restaurants and hotels and all kinds of things, even travel places in Kansas City, Indiana, Branson, tons and tons of things donated. So hundreds of auction items and raffle items. But we need people there in order to raise the money that we need for the scholarships and for these the EMT and paramedic students here.
Well, I would encourage people who are maybe small business owners, or if you have a good or service you could offer up for the auction. I mean, that all of this money just goes for such a great cause.
Yes, we appreciate anything and everything. All of it goes back into the St. Charles County. We have one fundraiser a year, so this sustains all the scholarships, everything throughout the year. So it's not like we're coming back and asking for more and more.
Yeah.
And Diane, if I want to get a table, you guys are going to host this at the Immaculate Conception Parish Hall there in Dardine Prairie. Tell Monsignor Ted Wojcicki I said hello, by the way. Yeah. And walk us through, how do you do it? How much is it? And how do I get a table reserved?
Sure. One thing you can do is go to our Facebook page. It's the Mike Hansen Memorial Fundraiser. All the information's out there. But the doors open at 5:45. Play begins at 6:30. The cost of a table is $160 for a table of 8. So it's just $20. We try and keep it low to get people there. If you just want to come as a single, you can do that. It's $20 at the door. And like you said, it's at Immaculate Conception. It's a lot of fun. Includes your beer, soda. You can bring your own.
Wait,
food.
for
You can bring
$20,
your
for
own alcohol.
$20, I get the beer and the soda for that price?
Both. Or you can mix your own drinks. Yes.
and you also can bring, obviously, a table full of food. You can bring in your own snacks, right?
Correct. Yes.
Dude, that sounds like a party.
Maybe we get the Dan Buck Marc Cox table out there. What do you think?
Oh, I got some trivia hounds.
Do you really?
On my baseball team? Or they're savant. They're crazy.
You
They're
let
good.
me know.
We could go win this.
I think maybe we
go win this thing. Can we win it? Even though, as media members, are we excluded from winning?
No, sir. No, sir. It's a pretty competitive group, but it's a lot of fun. So
that's
competitive
awesome.
or not, we have, like I said, there's something for everyone. You can start your Christmas shopping at our auction. There's something for everyone. So it's a lot of fun.
Diane, I know how much it takes to put on these kinds of events, and God bless you for honoring your husband's memory and doing this now. 14 years you've been putting this on, and it goes to a great cause. If you want great EMTs in the world, you got to have programs like this that help go out there and recruit and encourage and get people into the trade. Thank you so much
That's
for
right.
all you do, man. Appreciate it.
I appreciate it. And everyone can pay by cash, check, or Venmo. So all that information's out there. It goes to St. Charles County Paramedic Association Community Outreach.
Well,
like I said, I know that's a mouthful, so there is more information.
Diane Hansen, thank you and best of luck.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
And that's the Mike Hansen Memorial Auction or fundraiser on Facebook, and that's Hansen with an E, S-E-N at the end. So
good effort there. Hope we can get her a few tables sold.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
I think we ought to consider it. It'd be a fun night.
So you're doing a trivia in Columbus, Ohio this weekend, right?
Yeah, I'll be hosting a large 4 quarters of Ohio-based trivia for the most part. So Ohio State against Texas, the big showdown that's going to be in Columbus this weekend. I'll be there doing a trivia night on Friday. So
wow.
That's why I'm not able to be here tomorrow. We're going to go do some golfing and golf at the Memorial.
Sweet.
Yes, going to be fun.
Good to be Dan Buck, for sure. Thank you, buddy. Have a safe trip.
All right, brother. Great
All
show.
right, you bet. Thank you. We'll get to Killmeat up here in a minute. Stay tuned to 97.1 FM Talk all day long for the greatest in talk and information. And we'll see you back here tomorrow morning at 5 a.m. Have a great day.
Gain peace of mind that your flooring and carpet installation will be done right the first time when you hire the experts at Michael's Flooring Outlet.